A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
The Magic Detective, starring the world's greatest magician, Blackstone. Tonight he tells you the inside story of The Ghost That Trapped the Killer. And right after tonight's story, Blackstone will explain tricks that you yourself can perform. He will reveal the guarded secrets of the world's greatest magician. Now to Blackstone's Magical Studio. And what a singular place it is. But wait a moment. I'd like you to meet Blackstone himself.
Good evening. I see that you're admiring my new cabinet.
Yes, that's right, Blackstone. I was just going to mention those unusual bottles on that shelf.
That's interesting because the two go together. I'll tell you about them in a moment, but first let me introduce my leading lady, Miss Rhoda Brent.
How do you do?
Oh, good evening, Miss Brent. Do you disappear from that cabinet?
Oh, no, that's a ghost cabinet.
You mean there's a ghost in it?
There will be.
Yeah, but where do you get the ghosts?
Out of those bottles over there on that shelf.
That's right. Would you like me to manufacture a ghost right now?
Well, now, wait a minute. Will it be a real ghost?
Parker Harley thought it was real when he saw it.
Parker Harley?
Yes, the first man who ever saw the ghost trick. It was one of my strangest adventures as a magic detective. We were playing a town in New England, and I was in my dressing room after the final show when somebody knocked at the door. Who is it? Oh, show him in, Rhoda.
Mr. Blackstone?
Yes?
I'm Sheriff Gates.
How do you do?
I want you to solve a murder.
A murder? But I'm a magician, not a detective.
Well, it's going to take a magician to crack this case.
Oh, how's that, Sheriff?
Because you know who the murderer is and why he killed his victim.
And you know how he committed the crime?
Yes, ma'am, we know that, too. Well, we think we do. Only we can't prove anything.
So that's why you need a magician more than a detective.
That's right, Mr. Blackstone.
It sounds interesting, Sheriff. Tell me the tale.
All right, sir. It begins with old Hiram Saunders, who died last week.
Why, I read about that in the local newspaper. Oh, I saw a picture of the queer old house with all the gables where Mr. Saunders lived.
Yes, and where he died, too, miss. I'm taking too much of the medicine that Dr. Talbot gave him. Only it wasn't Doc Talbot's fault.
Then whose fault was it, Sheriff?
Well, I'm blaming Parker Harley, the caretaker. He could have given Mr. Saunders an overdose of that medicine as easy as you make people vanish, Mr. Blackstone.
Thanks for the compliment, Sheriff. But if Parker is the murderer, what was his motive?
Money, that's one.
Oh, but the newspaper said that Mr. Saunders died penniless.
Well, that's what we thought, miss, until we opened the old cabinet up in his bedroom. Inside, we found a tin cash box with $5,000 in it.
But if Parker was after the money, why didn't he steal it?
Because he didn't need to. Turned out that the old gentleman left everything in his will to Parker Harley.
Well, then all Parker has to do is to go to the house and find the money.
That's right, miss.
Perhaps he already has taken it.
No, not yet, Mr. Blackstone. Right now, Parker's at the lawyer's office, claiming some of Saunders' personal belongings.
And is the key to the cabinet among them?
That's right, miss. Parker won't waste no time using it either.
Then we'd better start for the old house right now.
Good. I got my car outside so we can get there ahead of Parker. Well, there's the house, folks.
Oh, my, what a spooky place.
Well, you may be right, Rhoda. That's what I'm going in to see about. Wait. I almost forgot something. Hand me that package, will you, Rhoda? The one I got at the drugstore?
Here it is.
Thanks. Now, you wait here with the sheriff. Oh, if I'm not back in 10 minutes, come in after.
All right. What did Mr. Blackstone say he was going to see about?
Why, ghosts, I guess.
He didn't say nothing about ghosts.
Yes, in a way he did. When I said the place was spooky, he said that maybe I was right.
Well, what in the hell he'd be haunting the house with?
Oh, Saunders' ghost, Sheriff.
Oh.
He was murdered, wasn't he?
Well, yes, so was.
And if there are ghosts, they're usually those of murdered people, aren't they?
Say, miss, that's right. And they often guard money, so I've heard.
Well, Sheriff, there you are.
Don't do that. What is it, miss?
That light.
Yeah.
In the window of the room upstairs.
That's Holmes' window. The room where he died.
Oh, it's only a flashlight.
Oh, drat it, then it's Parker. He got here ahead of us.
No, it's Blackstone, Sheriff. Look, he's at the window.
Yeah. I see him now. He's beckoning to us. Come on, let's go up.
Oh, it gives me the shivers.
Yeah, well, that's because it's chilly out here. Come on in. It's warmer in the house.
Come in, Sheriff. I set the trap for Parker.
Trap? I don't see any trap.
You're not supposed to see it. Wait. I just heard something.
So did I. Sounded like the front door.
Turn off that flashlight, Sheriff. And listen.
Yeah.
Somebody coming up the stairs.
Sounds weird in all this darkness.
Hey, it's Parker. Now, look, we don't want him to find us.
He won't find us. Move back here in the alcove, Sheriff.
Yeah. It's Parker. I saw his face when the match flared.
But he isn't going to the cabinet.
He will after he lights those candles on the table. See? He's stopping at the cabinet. Now watch. He's found the tin box. Look, he's putting it on the table.
Look at the cabinet. The door is closing.
Oh, shucks, that's nothing, miss. Just the kind that don't stay open, that's all.
But there's something coming from it.
Quiet. You don't want to disturb Parker or the ghost.
Yeah, ghost. What ghost?
Saunders' ghost, Sheriff.
Don't you see it, Sheriff? Coming from the cabinet.
Yeah, it is a ghost. Creeping out like a great big hand.
Bigger than a hand, Sheriff. As big as a pair of arms.
It's creeping closer to Parker.
Now, it's as big as he is. Even bigger.
And you can see right through it. Like a
ghost floater. Quiet now. There's Parker turning around toward the cabinet.
No, go away. Go away. I need the money. I don't want it. I don't want it. The ghost has got him. It's spreading all around him like it was a fog. Here's your box. Now, you let me go. Let me go. Now, that was the time to grab Parker.
Only it can't because the ghost already has him.
You hear that? He's going to confess.
He has confessed, Sheriff.
Look, the ghost is
You
saying.
can take Parker now, Sheriff.
All right. Come along, Parker. You'll kill the whole soul. Yes. I killed him. I killed Saunders, and his ghost came back.
You'd better stick to that confession, Parker, unless you want the ghost to follow you.
I will. I'll tell everything. Everything I know, everything I do. Get me away. Glad to oblige you, Parker. I got a nice jail cell for you without ghosts. Well, so that was the first performance of your famous ghost act.
Yes, it was. A simple chemical experiment plus the imagination of those who witnessed it.
But there aren't such things as real ghosts.
They're only as real as people imagine them to be. I manufactured the ghost from 2 of those bottles on the shelf.
They were what was in the package.
2 simple liquids that can be bought at any drugstore. Watch while I make the ghost. First, a few drops from this bottle. They went into an empty inkwell in Saunders' cabinet. And from this bottle, a few drops on a blotter that I tucked in the cabinet door.
And stormy smoke. More and more of it. It's creeping out just like...
Just like a ghost odor, growing bigger and bigger. Like the fear that gripped Parker Harley when he turned round and saw it.
Yes, it's most amazing to think that a ghost could be produced so simply and so easily.
Not at all. I'll show you something quite as wonderful that could be done anywhere. While we're trying it, our listening audience can try it too. First, I need a nickel.
Oh, there you are, Blackstone.
And next, a drinking glass.
I'll get one.
Good. Now, a paper match. While I light it and blow it out, I want you to balance the nickel on the table.
Balance the nickel.
That's it.
Well, it sounds pretty difficult, but Oh, no. Oh, it's easy. There, all right, standing.
Now, bend the match a little and place it on the balanced nickel. Set it carefully. Ah, that's right.
The bent match is resting on the balanced nickel. And what comes next?
This does, the drinking glass.
Thanks, Rhoda. Set it upside down over the nickel and the match carefully.
Like this?
Good. And now, do you think you could remove the match from the nickel without lifting the glass?
Oh, gosh, if I could, it would be magic. Or a ghost.
Yes, it does look as though only a spook could manage it, but the trick's very easy. We need just one thing more.
A magic wand?
No, something much more simple.
Something you have in your pocket right now.
And I'll be back in a moment to tell you what it is.
And now, Blackstone, that trick of yours.
All right. Now, remember, I said there was something else that would help.
Yes, but what is it?
That comb of yours there in your coat pocket.
Oh, you mean that this little comb I always carry?
Mm-hmm, that's right. Give it to Blackstone, and he'll show you how the trick is done.
All right, here's the comb, Blackstone.
Thank you. Now, wait a moment. First, run it through your hair to accumulate some electricity.
All right.
That's good. Now, move the comb slowly around the glass.
Like this, huh?
That's the way.
Well, look. The match is turning, like the needle of a compass.
That's right.
And there goes the match, right off the nickel.
Just as I said it would. There's the magic you and all your friends will enjoy. Just try it and find out. Until we meet again, this is Blackstone saying good magic and goodbye.
Be with us the next time when Blackstone, the world's greatest magician, tells us the story of the reluctant buzzsaw and explains more tricks that you yourself can perform. Listen again to The Magic Detective with Blackstone, the world's greatest magician.
Mars Incorporated, makers of America's most enjoyable candy bars, presents Curtain Time! The makers of the big new Mars bar welcome you to Curtain Time. The summer season is nearly at its height, and tan faces and gaily colored clothes predominate in the crowded lobby. And here, as always, at our opening night, is the well-known man about town, your host, Patrick Allen.
Good evening.
Well, Mr. Allen, what's in store for us tonight?
Comedy and romance, Myron, and I might say summer romance. But there's the overture, so we better hurry inside the theater for tonight's production of Curtain Time.
Tickets, please. Thank you, sir. Seventh row center. Seats 7 and 8.
Thank you. Well, these are excellent seats. But before the lights are dimmed, let's glance at the program. Harry Elders, supported by the Curtain Time Players, is starred tonight in The Dishonest Ghost by Sidney Hoffman. Mr. Elders plays the part of Edward Stearns, and with Nanette Sargent on vacation, Loretta Poynton is featured as Judy Moran.
Curtain Time!
There's the call for the first act of The Dishonest Ghost. The scene is the interior of a Pullman car. The train hasn't left the station yet, and a middle-aged man stands beside one of the seats, talking to an attractive young lady who has just sat down.
Now, Judy, you must remember to be careful.
Oh, Daddy.
I mean it, my dear. You could fall over a cliff.
But, Daddy, I know every inch of those woods by heart.
Well, you have quite a responsibility. 3 girls handling 20 kids all by yourselves and miles away from civilization.
Will you stop worrying?
All right, my dear. I'll be up next weekend to see how you're getting along.
Oh, wonderful.
And in the meantime, I'll certainly miss you at the office, Judy.
Oh, darling, I'm sure the Moran McGuire Publishing Company can get along without one little old manuscript reader for a few weeks.
Well, I gotta get off now, dear.
Right.
It looks as though you've got the whole section to yourself.
Well, now, Daddy, please run into it.
Goodbye, dear. Be sure to write now.
Yes, goodbye.
Here are, sir, upper tea.
Thanks, Porter.
Pardon me,
Oh, that's all right. Make yourself right at home.
Thanks.
For a while, it looks as though I'd have both the upper and lower to myself.
Well, I'm sorry, but will you excuse me if I'm not very sociable?
Well, of course.
I have some work to do.
Yes, please. Are you a writer?
Mm-hmm.
What are you writing?
I beg your pardon?
I said, what are you writing?
Oh, a novel. Right now, I'm making some corrections.
Then it's finished?
No, I've got 236 pages so far. Oh, I suppose I should ask you.
Ask me what?
Well, sometimes I type at pretty odd times. And if I decide to do some writing tonight,
You mean you can type in an upper berth?
Sure, why not?
Why not? You must be a contortionist.
No, I'm not. It's simple. You just put the typewriter on your lap and, type.
Well...
Thanks, I'm sure you wouldn't mind.
Oh, good heavens, he wasn't kidding. Well, if he's going to keep this up, I may as well pull the curtains back. Hey, what's this? Well, what do you know? Shakespeare dropped a page of his book. And I'll bet a cookie he doesn't know it. Let's see. Hurled into this maelstrom of doubt and bewilderment, Lucinda wonders why she keeps on living. Questions once again the fundamental truths. Lucinda. Golly. Daddy'd never buy a novel with a heroine named Lucinda. But it's not bad. Oh, well, as long as I can't sleep anyway, I may as well get back to work. Now, where the dickens did I put that pencil?
Oh, but, Porter, you must have seen it.
I saw it, sir. I went through the corridor first thing this morning. There wasn't a scrap of paper on the floor.
Just the same, it was...
You better hurry up, sir. The train's almost ready to pull out.
But I've got to find that page.
You better get off quick, sir. We've been standing here in this station 2 minutes longer than we're supposed to.
Oh, all right. Oh, you gods, what a way to start a vacation. Losing page 237.
Good morning.
Oh, hello.
I think I have something that belongs to you. Isn't this yours?
Why, it's page 237. How did you get it?
Well, I guess it dropped out of your berth last night. I picked it up off the floor.
But it's all marked up.
I know. You see, I was going to give it back to you before I got off the train, but I found out that you were getting off here, too, and, well, I thought that we'd have more of a chance to talk about it if I just...
Of all the unmitigated nerve.
I thought you'd appreciate it.
Look, whom do you think you are, anyway, making corrections in my novel when I haven't even let my agent look at it?
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I didn't know it was safe with them. Most writers would appreciate what I did.
Well, I don't.
So I see.
The idea of anybody just picking up a guy's manuscript.
Well, now, Molly.
Oh, Judy, am I glad to see you.
Oh, gee, Molly, I just can't believe I finally got
Come
you.
on, honey, let's get going. Lorraine has her hands full with the kids this morning.
Okay.
Say, Judy, who was the man with the typewriter who just walked away from here a minute ago?
All I know is that he's a very sensitive young author.
An author?
Yes.
Gee, I'll bet he's Edward Stearns, the man who's rented the Wilbur's cottage.
Oh? Well, I wonder how he expects to get to it.
Hey, look, Judy, he's coming back.
He probably wants to bawl me out again.
Bawl you out? Why?
Shh, I'll tell you later.
Pardon me, but is there a bus from here to Bird Lake?
Are you kidding? You're in the North Woods.
Well, perhaps you can tell me how to get to the Wilbur's cottage.
Oh, sure. It's a good 4-mile hike up the road.
4 miles? Oh, good grief.
Look, why don't you hop in the station wagon?
Well...
We're only half a mile from your cottage. We'll drop you off.
You're only half a mile from me?
Yes.
But I didn't know there was anyone else up here.
There isn't. Just you and our girls' camp.
Girls' camp? Oh, brother, when does the next train leave?
Anybody home?
Yes, what is it?
It's Miss Moran, Mr. Stearns. I thought you might like some of the cookies I baked this morning.
Leave them on the porch.
But the dog might get them.
Oh, all right, I'll come get them.
Hello.
Look, it's very nice of you, Miss Moran, but how in heaven's name do you expect me to get any work done if you come calling every day?
How's the novel coming along?
Should have been finished by now.
Oh? Well, I'd love to read it.
I'm sorry, but I don't let anyone see my unfinished work.
Oh, you shouldn't be ashamed of it, Mr. Stearns. The page I read was excellent, except
I'm not ashamed of it. Just happen to believe that it's bad luck to let other people read what I've written before it's finished.
Then you'll let me read it when it is finished?
I didn't say that. Besides, the minute I'm through, it goes to my agent. After that, it's up to him who sees it.
Oh.
And now, if you'll excuse me...
Oh, sure. Well, I have to get back to camp now myself. Goodbye, and I hope you enjoy the cookies.
The cookies? Yes, the cookies. Thanks. Dear God, cookies. What'll she think up next to bother me with?
Mr. Stearns! Mr. Stearns! Mr. Stearns!
Hey, what's the idea?
It's Molly Adams. Mr. Stearns, I'm sorry if I woke you up.
What time is it?
It's after midnight, and Mr. Stearns, I'm simply frantic. Judy and the 4 little girls haven't come home yet.
That's too bad.
They left right after dinner. I wasn't there at the time, and no one seems to know where they went.
Uh-huh.
It's so late, and I don't know what to do.
I recommend you go back to bed.
But they may be lost up there on the mountain.
You don't say.
Yes. I telephoned Bill Yates.
Who's he?
The forest ranger, but he's 30 miles away, and it'll take him hours to get here.
Look, what are you getting at?
Won't you please try to find her?
Me?
Yes.
Miss Adams, I came up here to finish my book, but your Miss Moran has hounded me every day since I arrived.
But, Mr.
And
Stearns...
now you come here in the middle of the night and want me to go out in the woods and look for her. Well, she can stay lost for all I care.
Mr. Stearns, you don't know what you're saying.
Don't I?
I can't leave the camp, and... Oh, gosh, if Judy isn't back here by the time her father arrives tomorrow morning...
Then he can look for her when he gets here.
But if anything happens to Judy, and if he finds out, there won't be any camp.
What do you mean by that?
I mean that her father practically supports the camp.
Uh-oh, I might have known it.
Well, he doesn't like people to know it, but John K. Moran is one of the most generous men that ever...
Did you say John K. Moran?
Yes.
Is he John K. Moran, the publisher?
That's right, and if he ever...
Gods, and I almost turned down a chance to rescue his daughter.
Then you...
Will I? Which way did she go? Where's my flashlight? Where's the...
Well, don't you think you'd better...
I better what?
Well, you're hardly dressed to go searching for her.
I'm hardly dressed, period.
The curtain falls on the first act of tonight's Curtain Time Play, starring Harry Elders and featuring Loretta Poynton. And now, Myron Wallace.
Summer days are recreation days, days when we like to be lazy and enjoy ourselves. And these summer days, one way that you can always be sure of real relaxation and enjoyment, at work, at home, anytime, anywhere, is by treating yourself to the delightful taste of the big new 10-cent Mars bar. In each bite of this luscious new candy bar, you'll enjoy the rare flavor combination of an extra thick, pure milk chocolate coating heaped high and packed with crunchy, fresh, whole toasted almonds, all over a soft, snow-white nougat center that is creamy, rich, and smooth. Together, the milk chocolate, crisp almonds, and soft nougat make every bite of the big new Mars bar a taste of candy at its finest. For the finest quality candy bar of them all, just try a Mars bar.
The call for the second act of The Dishonest Ghost, brought to you by the makers of the big new Mars Bar. Edward Stearns, who has gone north to the Northwoods in order to finish a novel, has been pestered ever since he's been there by Judy Moran, the publisher's daughter. Well, to top things off, Judy, a counselor at a nearby girls' camp, has got lost, and Edward is out trying to find her. Well, it's now the next morning. Molly, Judy's friend, talks to Mr. Moran.
Why, I just didn't want to tell you before, Mr. Moran, but I'm...
Come, Molly, out with it. Where's Judy?
She's lost.
Lost?
Yeah.
In these woods? Oh, that's a joke. She knows them better than the forest ranger.
Well, but she didn't come back to camp last night, Mr. Moran.
She didn't?
No, she and the 4 oldest girls, they've disappeared.
Oh, I can't believe it. Judy, lost?
Hi, everybody. Who's lost? Hello, Daddy.
Oh, Judy. Oh, Judy, where have you been?
Young lady, what do you mean worrying the whole camp this way?
But I told Molly yesterday morning that last night was our special overnight camping trip.
But you said it was tonight.
I'm terribly sorry, Molly, but I said last night.
Well, no harm done, I guess, except for a sleepless night and some gray hairs for Molly.
Yeah, well, I guess I can live through that, but... Well, gee, I was so frantic I even telephoned the forest ranger. He should be here soon.
You mean poor old Bill Yates is traveling all that distance for nothing? And we've been practically within shouting distance of each other.
Yes, and I forgot. Mr. Stearns is out looking for you, too.
Edward Stearns went out to look for me?
Yeah, poor guy. I woke him up in the middle of the night, and he hurried right out.
Well, Judy, it looks as if you made another conquest.
Oh, Molly, you shouldn't have let him go. He doesn't know the woods at all.
Oh, but if he wanted
Yes,
to...
he did seem quite anxious.
Hello!
Well, look who's here. Bill Yates. Bill, it's good to see you.
Well, it's nice seeing you again, Mr. Moran. And Judy, I thought they said you were lost.
Oh, no, Bill, it's Mr. Stearns. He went out to look for me in the middle of the night, and he hasn't come back yet.
Well, it's sort of hard to get lost up on Bird Mountain. The trails are all marked real clear. Did them myself.
Oh, but he doesn't know anything about trail markings, and he's been up there alone all night.
Then I guess I better go after him.
Well, I'll go with you. I'll be ready in a minute.
What do you mean you'll be ready? Where do you think you're going?
Father, Edward's lost up on that mountain. He may be hurt, and all because he... Well, I've just got to help find him. Well, we've been up here for hours and not a sign of him.
Yeah, it sure is funny where he could have disappeared to.
Oh, I really can't believe he ever got this far.
Well, the only thing for us to do is split up for a while.
All right, you keep this side of the trail, and I'll take the other.
Okay, but don't go beyond the sound of my voice. I don't want you to get lost.
Oh, I'll be careful, Bill. Here's hoping.
Well, I guess I'll try the ridge up yonder. Get a better view of the situation.
Judy? Can you hear me, Judy? I'm over this way. It looks like somebody's been here. It looks like somebody's been here.
All these fresh branches broken. Hey, there's someone sitting up there on the ridge.
Say, you up there. Are you Stearns, the fellow from Bird Lake who got lost?
I'm Stearns. I sprained my ankle. It's Judy Moran who's lost.
There's nobody lost around here except you, brother.
What do you mean? Did they find Judy?
Judy wasn't lost.
What?
She took 4 of the girls on an overnight camping trip. They were just a little ways up the trail.
You mean that I've been out here all night wandering around on a wild goose chase and shouting myself hoarse for nothing?
Now, easy, fella.
Going without breakfast, spraining my ankle?
Well...
Making a fool of myself, all for the sake of a dumb bunny publisher who might be grateful enough to publish my book?
Well, I'm terribly sorry you went to all this trouble just for me.
Oh, good heavens. What are you doing here?
I'm beginning to wonder.
You come up here to look for me, too?
No, I just came along for the walk.
That's the last straw. It isn't bad enough that I have to sprain my ankle. They have to send a meddlesome, wisecracking female out after me.
Why?
Honestly, why don't you get lost?
Oh, well, easy does it now, Philip.
Oh, but I must be darn near pulling your neck off.
Don't worry about me. Besides, we're past the worst part, aren't we, Judy?
Look, how much farther do we have to go? My foot can't take much more of this.
Well, we're almost there. When we get around the next turn, we should be able to see the cabin. Right, Judy?
Now, to tell the truth, I'm a stranger here myself.
Oh, for crying out loud. Don't stay mad. I'm sorry.
You said that before.
Well, what do you want me to do? Dedicate a book to you?
Not if it's that book you've been writing.
What do you mean, not if it's that book? You don't have to be nasty. You haven't even read it.
And I don't think I care to now.
Hey, I think I see the cabin.
Hey, you're right. I can see the sun on the window panes.
Oh, there's someone out in the yard, too.
Well, you've got better eyesight than I've got, Judy.
See, it does look as though someone's down there.
Well, I think it's Daddy.
What's he doing? He keeps going into the cabin and coming out.
Say, that doesn't look like sun on the window panes to me.
No, it doesn't. And there are other people there, too.
Oh, that's funny. I wonder why. Good heavens, my cabin's on fire.
Edward, you can't.
But I've got to get my cabin.
Edward, be careful of your ankle.
Wow, look at him go. Never saw a fellow run with a sprained ankle like that.
Oh, Bill, what a terrible thing to happen. And it's all my fault.
It is
he's not, Judy, and stop fretting about him. From what I've seen of him, he's not worth worrying about.
Oh, but he is, Bill. He is.
Young man, of all the stupid, harebrained young idiots, you take the prize. Running off to the mountain there and leaving a fire burning in the fireplace. Why, you could...
Tell me, did you save it?
Save what?
He means his book, Daddy.
We didn't save anything. All we could do was...
Get out of my way. I've got to go in there.
Now, hold on.
But you can't go in there. It's nothing but smoldering wood.
Yes, Molly and the rest of us got the fire out. If we hadn't, the whole force would be in flames by now. But as far as trying to save any book...
That's just swell. My novel, it's just a bunch of ashes.
Starring Harry Elders and featuring Loretta Poynton, here is Myron Wallace.
For as long as there have been hot summer days, people have searched for new and different ways to cool off and enjoy themselves. And now candy lovers have discovered the luscious new summer treat of a chilled Mars bar. With each bite of a Mars bar that has been chilled in your refrigerator, your teeth sink through a crisp, cold milk chocolate coating that is heaped extra high and packed with crunchy, fresh, whole toasted almonds, all over a cool, snow-white nougat center that is creamy, rich, and smooth. Here is truly one of the greatest of candy triumphs, for the finest quality candy bar of them all. Just try a Mars bar.
There's the call for the third act of Dishonest Ghost, brought to you by the makers of the big new Mars bar. Edward Stearns was awakened in the middle of the night because Judy Moran was supposed to be lost. But the next morning, Judy wasn't lost at all, and Edward was. But Judy and the forest ranger found Edward. When the trio returned to Edward's cabin, they discovered it had burned down, and Edward's novel had been burned up with it. Well, it's now a week later. Edward, whose ankle was sprained, is at the girls' camp, and Judy is taking care of him.
Thanks, Judy. You're a good nurse.
Oh, bandaging a sprained ankle doesn't make me a good nurse. If I were really good, you'd be pounding away at the typewriter, rewriting your novel.
Please. We've been over that so many times. I can't rewrite it.
Not even on the pretty typewriter I lent you?
You just don't understand.
Well, explain it to me again.
Judy, would you mind leaving me alone?
Well, no.
You and Molly have been swell, but I just can't talk about my book.
Well, I can.
Please, I...
Edward Stearns, you're no more a writer than the man in the moon. What? Do you think that a real honest-to-goodness author could be stymied by a mere accident?
A mere accident? 2 years' work gone in one day?
All right, feel sorry for yourself. You've been sitting here for 1 solid week staring at his face and telling yourself how much you're suffering.
That's a nasty crack.
You're wallowing in misery because the great American novel got burned up.
Listen, you. I've never struck a woman in my life.
And now with a chance to rewrite it, to improve it, to correct all the things you didn't like about it...
Will you please get out?
What do? You sit here mourning over your deathless prose.
I told you.
What's the matter? Isn't there any more where that came from?
Chapter 1, all finished.
Edward, won't you let me read it? I promise I won't tell a soul.
Gee, Judy, I hate to turn you down. You've been so... That is, you and Molly have been so swell.
Pretty please?
Oh, well, I don't suppose it matters if you do read it.
Then you will let me?
Here, take my carbon copy and I...
Yes?
Well, I don't know exactly why, but I hope you like it.
You do? Well, I think I will. Edward, on page 12, don't you think it'd be more logical if Lucinda... Oh, Edward, won't you please change her name?
No, I won't. Lucinda's real. That name belongs to her just as much as... Well, just as Judy belongs to you.
All right, if you won't, you won't. But what do you think of my other suggestion?
Well, it hadn't occurred to me, but the way you explain it, yes, it does sound better.
Well, then why don't you change it right now?
That's a good idea. Here, give it to me. Judy, what do you think of Chapter 3? I followed your idea.
Just a minute. I'm not through yet.
Okay. Let's say, did you bring back my carbons of the first 2 chapters?
What?
The first 2 chapters. Did you remember to bring my carbon copies back with you?
No, I wanted to read them again.
Well,
Edward, I can't finish reading this here. I haven't time, but, let me take it back to camp with me.
Okay. You can have the carbon copy.
Swell.
For gosh sakes, don't lose it.
Edward, so far it's positively wonderful.
Gee, I'm awfully glad you like it, Judy.
Oh, I really do, but, well, I didn't mean to interrupt your work. I just dropped in to say goodbye.
Goodbye? What do you mean, goodbye?
Well, just that my vacation is over.
It is?
Mm-hmm. Daddy's driving up to take me home tonight.
But it seems... vacations always seem so short, don't they?
Yes, especially this one. It's been so wonderful.
I think so, too.
Do you, Edward?
Judy, I'm so grateful to you for everything.
Don't mention it.
By the way, you still have the carbon copies of those first 4 chapters.
Yes,
why don't I walk back with you and pick them up?
Oh, no, I wouldn't think of having you interrupt your work.
It'll take only a few minutes.
No, I'll send someone back with them tonight before we leave. I promise I will.
Come in. Oh, Mr. Moran, come in, sit down.
Certainly will, my boy. But I haven't got much time, so let's get right down to business.
Business?
Yes, and let's see where I put those darned option papers.
Option papers?
Of course. Stern, you don't sound much brighter than I thought you were. If I didn't know that you had written this, I'd
written... If you hadn't known...
Here they are. Now, stop muttering for a minute and sign here.
Sign?
Yes, all 4 copies.
All 4?
Come, I haven't much time. Stern, don't tell me you've offered it to someone else.
Mr. Moran, I don't quite know what...
Your novel, Stearns, your novel. Good heavens, what in the world do you think I've been talking about?
But my novel's not finished
I
yet.
know that, my boy.
You want to buy it now?
Of course. You don't think publishers always wait for a book to be finished before they buy it, do you?
Well, no.
And Stearns, that was a terrific trick.
Trick? What do you mean?
Why, mailing me a chapter at a time.
I mailed you a chapter at a time?
Yes, indeed. Terrific trick. Kept me in suspense, just like reading Terry and the Pirate.
Well, gee,
Yes, you've done a brilliant job of rewriting.
Well, thanks, but...
Funny thing, too. I told Judy you didn't have it in you, but, well, I guess our first meeting was a little unfortunate.
Look, let me get this straight.
Why, Judy.
I think this is where I come in.
Judy,
Edward, I owe you an apology, I think.
Look, will somebody please tell me what this is all about?
Oh, I will if you'll just listen to me. I've been trying to tell you that I've been terribly dishonest with you.
Dishonest?
My dear, I'd hardly call it...
When you wouldn't let me read the first draft of your novel, Edward, I borrowed the carbon copy.
Of all the crust.
Young man,
there
what's your
were
language?
Lots of things wrong with it. Lots of things
Go
wrong
on.
with it. But I sent it on to Daddy anyway.
Yes, and
I knew you wouldn't miss it because you thought it had been all burned up.
And all the time you had a copy. Why, I couldn't...
No.
But that's not all.
If you ask me, it's plenty.
I also sent Daddy suggestions I had for rewriting it.
Oh, you did?
Yes, she did. And I wrote back that if the revisions were made successfully, I might be interested.
Oh, honestly,
Edward,
you had the colossal gall to take it upon yourself to show me how to rewrite my novel. Are you sure you didn't also start the fire?
Stearns, you're accusing my daughter of arson.
Oh, what a sap I was. Here you couldn't return my carbon copies because you've been mailing them to him.
Young man, were you planning to sell your book, or did you just want to frame it and hang it on the wall?
Why,
Daddy's right. Are you going to give him an option on your book, or aren't you?
Well, gee, an option?
Oh, now he's waking up.
Oh, good grief. What's the matter with me?
I don't know, but I hope it's not catching.
Oh, gosh, Judy, if it hadn't been for you,
Then you're not mad at me anymore?
Mad? Oh, I should say that.
I'm a busy man, Stearns, and I've got a long trip ahead of me. Are you going to sign this or not?
Judy, can you ever forgive me?
I can. If you can forgive me for presuming to be your ghostwriter.
Oh, you're the most charming ghostwriter that ever lived.
Now, if I may bust in on this Mutual Admiration Society.
Oh, sure, Mr. Moran.
Yes, here, my fountain pen.
Thanks.
You sign right there.
I will if my hand doesn't shake too much.
Son, there's just one thing wrong with your book so far.
Oh? What's that?
The name of the leading character. You've just got to change that girl's name.
Well, I've been considering that.
You have?
Yeah. Good. But I can't do it without asking Judy first.
Well?
How about it, leading character? Can we change your name?
You mean my last name?
I do.
Well, Mr. Author, seeing you put it that way, it's a deal.
Tonight's Curtain Time starred Harry Elders and featured Loretta Boynton. The supporting players were Geraldine Kay, Michael Romano, and George Caesar. The Curtain Time music is arranged and conducted by Bert Farber, and the entire production is directed by Harry Holcomb. Next Saturday, Curtain Time will present a comedy romance entitled The Story of Pat and Mike. And now I'll join this gay theater crowd as it leaves the Merchandise Mart. Many on their way to the glamorous after-theater spots here in Chicago. Until next week, then, this is Patrick Allen reminding you of your date every Saturday, same time, same station, when the makers of the big new Mars Bar present Curtain Time!
Monday night, be sure to hear Dr. I.Q., the mental banker, and next Saturday, be with us once again for Curtain Time. Remember, for the finest quality candy bar of them all, just try a Mars Bar.
This is NBC, the national broadcasting company.
The story you are about to hear is true, but strange.
On Christmas Eve, Tom, you picked up a girl on the road and didn't even tell me about it.
Oh, wait a minute, Lucille. How do you...
She was a beautiful girl with eyes like nothing a man has ever seen before.
You've been talking to Bill?
And you end up at my house walking around as though you weren't quite connected with this world.
Answer me. Have you been talking to Bill? Did he tell you about this?
I've talked with Bill, but he didn't tell me any part of this. And neither did anyone else. But I know, and I can tell you every detail of that ride.
How?
That's why you're out for this ride, darling. I'm going to show you how.
Strange, true stories of the supernatural. With your narrator, famous author, lecturer, and expert on weird and unusual events, Walter Gibson.
Thank you, Charles Woods. At the turn of the century, a train ran through Connecticut, which local residents dubbed the Ghost Train. It was real enough at the time, but its white cars gave it a weird effect when seen through the night. In years to come, the term became even more appropriate. years ago, Tom Lacey was driving over back roads in Connecticut to spend Christmas with his fiancée. In the rear seat, his friend Bill Boland was dozing comfortably along with his dog Spangles. Tom didn't like the road very much.
We should have put on chains. It's pretty hard to hold this car down on these old high-crowned roads. Hey, that sounds like a sleigh. Where is it? Gee, I wonder if there could be a side road running along here. Gosh, I can hear those bells as plain as day, but there's not a sign of the sleigh, either in front of us or behind us. Well, I'd sure hate having to stop for it in a hurry while I'm going down this long hill. There's a train coming. It's an old steam train. Gee, I thought everything up there was diesel. There's no more bells. The sleigh must have stopped for the train, and I'd better... Whoa, whoa. White cars. It's like a ghost train. It's funny. Lucille didn't mention anything about railroad crossing in her directions. There's somebody in the road, I think. Yeah, it's a girl. She's been looking for a ride way out here. Well, there's somebody to talk to since Bill won't wake up. Hey, get in. You must be frozen standing out there. Here, I'll close the door for you. Well, where to, miss?
To my house. In the valley at the foot of the Long Hill Road. My father is ill. I must get to him right away. Right away.
Long Hill Road? I'm afraid I don't know where that is.
Take the first right down the hill. At the bottom, take the left fork across the covered bridge. It's the first house, the other side of the river.
Okay, take it easy. I'll get you there. This is the place, miss.
Yes.
There's somebody waiting for you in the porch, I think, with a lantern.
My brother, Leonard.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me get the door. It sticks.
Thank you.
Well, wait a minute. You don't have to be in such a hurry, do you? I'd kind of like to see you again.
After Christmas, I'm sure my father will be well. Good night.
It was a gay Christmas at the home of Lucille Rutledge, Tom's fiancée. But Tom, oddly enough, was more quiet than usual. Although Lucille worried a little, asking if he felt all right, Tom would not admit to anything being wrong. Finally, she got Bill Boland aside to ask a few pertinent questions.
Bill, will you talk to me for a minute?
Sure, pick a subject.
I can't help wondering what's happened to Tom. Do you have any idea?
Well, I didn't know anything had happened to him.
Oh, well, now, he's not being himself at all. He's quiet. And you know that's not at all like Tom.
Come to think of it, I guess that's right.
We haven't seen each other since Thanksgiving. Are you sure that he hasn't met another girl?
No. Look, he dragged me through every high-priced store on Fifth Avenue before we came up here, and he was like an anxious adolescent. Did I think you'd like this? Did I think you'd like that?
No.
Was it the right color? Does that sound like a guy who's got his mind on another girl?
No. And one of you certainly had good taste in presents, I must say. But just the same, he's been quiet and strained ever since he got here. So something must have happened. Tom. Bill, nothing happened along the road, did it?
Well, you can't prove it by me. I was asleep most of the way out here.
No, think hard.
Well, honest, nothing. I vaguely remember hearing Tom muttering to himself while he drove along, but I...
And?
Well, now that I think of it, I do seem to remember a woman's voice in there a couple of times. Of course, I thought I was dreaming.
Do you remember where you heard it?
Oh, I didn't even open my eyes. All I know is we were going down a hill. We seem to have been going down a hill the whole way up here.
It was a long hill, in other words. Now I know what's been the matter with Tom.
Oh, wait a minute, Lucille. If there's anything I've said, I don't want to get...
Rest easy, Bill. But tomorrow I'm going to take Tom out for a drive, and you're not invited.
Although the roads hadn't improved a bit, Lucille insisted on going out for a drive with Tom on the following day. She took the wheel, and as the car pulled out of the village, she said,
I should be jealous, you know.
Huh?
Yes, you pick up a girl along the road. Don't even tell me about it.
Wait a minute now.
She's a beautiful girl with eyes like nothing a man has ever seen before.
You've been talking to Bill.
And you end up at my house walking around as though you weren't, well, quite connected with this world.
Answer me. Have you been talking with Bill?
I've talked with Bill, yes, but he didn't tell me any of this.
Well, then how'd you know?
Aha. Now, that's an admission that it's all true.
Well, all right. I picked up the girl, yeah. Well, she was standing beside the road trying to flag a ride to her home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, it looked pretty cold out there, so I took her home.
Yeah, but you wanted to see her again.
Well, I wanted... Well, I... Look here. Was this kid a friend of yours or what?
No.
Well, then how did you know all this?
I'm psychic.
Oh, nonsense.
No, really, Tom. Why the stare ever since you got here? Do you realize that you haven't looked me in the eyes once?
Well, I didn't realize them. I'm sorry. It won't happen again.
Yes, but what's your promised word? How do I know it won't happen again?
Because I love you. And I want to marry you. And you're the only girl in the world for me.
Oh... Well, that goes a long way toward getting you out of the doghouse.
Oh, that's good.
Now, if you can explain walking around with a dreamy countenance.
Well, you put your finger on it, all right. See that girl's eyes? They're what had me walking around in a trance. I just couldn't get them out of my mind.
All right, darling. Now, I'll show you how I happen to know all about it. Although... this is an advantage that I really should keep.
By a roundabout way, Lucille drove Tom to the long hill, where unexplained things had started happening to him. Different as it appeared in daylight, Tom could still recognize it, and he said so.
That's right, darling. You see, now we're headed back toward my house on exactly the same road you took Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Do you remember hearing something around this point?
Yeah, sleigh bells.
Did you see the sleigh?
No, that's what stuck me.
You didn't see the sleigh because it was traveling an old road that doesn't exist anymore. It used to run parallel to this one, at least partway down the hill. And then, just about here, I should think, you started hearing a train whistle.
Yeah, I'm darned if I did. How did you know?
And when you came around this curve, you saw...
I saw a train.
Yes. But now... Look, in the light of day, do you see any railroad crossing there?
No, there's not a sign of one. What, was I out of my head?
No, darling, you were all right. Look on either side of the road. You'll see the old railroad bed where the line used to run through here.
Yeah?
And right here is where you picked up the girl, isn't it?
Yeah, she was standing right over there by that rock.
Now, Tom, the reason I know exactly what happened is that it's happened before to other people down through the years. You see, back around 1900, a girl named Ethel Wyman was hurrying down this hill in a sleigh, trying to reach her father's sickbed before he died. And she was struck and killed here by the train that used to run on this line.
Yeah, and it was painted all white, wasn't it?
And every year at Christmas time, the scene is reenacted with the girl standing by the side of the road, trying to get a ride to her father's house. And everyone who has experienced it has made a point of reporting the girl's eyes. They were haunting.
Yeah. They certainly were. So I picked up a ghost and took her home, huh? See, that'll be something to remember.
Yes.
Well, look, now will you tell me why all this business about you being jealous?
Oh, well, it was just too good an opportunity, sweetheart. I just wanted to be sure that you'd never look at another girl again, no matter what kind of eyes she had.
Thinking it over later, there was something that neither Tom nor Lucille could puzzle out. Before reaching Ethel Wyman's home, Tom had taken a left fork at the bottom of Long Hill, then crossed a covered bridge. Retracing that route in daylight, he found that neither the fork in the road nor the bridge existed. The road ended at an abutment, and beyond it lay Great Hollow Reservoir, built 40 years before.
Tune in at this same time for Walter Gibson, your expert on the supernatural. Stories of ghosts, of spirits, werewolves, and voodoo. And each story you hear is true, but strange. Strange, with Walter Gibson as your expert, was directed by Bill Marshall. In the cast were Mary Patton and Hal Holbrook. This is Charles Wood speaking.
Kreml Hair Tonic and Kreml Shampoo present the new adventures of Sherlock Holmes, starring Nigel Bruce as Dr. Watson and Tom Conway as Sherlock Holmes. Now, here we are once more in Dr. Watson's study. And maybe we're not glad to get here. If we hadn't had a Sherlock Holmes story waiting for us at the other end, we'd have never ventured out on a night like this.
Pretty bad weather out, Mr. Bell?
Indeed it is, Dr. Watson. There's a cold wind that chills you to the bone. I had one hand holding my coat collar and the other holding my hat all the way over. I felt as though some malignant deity were determined to keep me from reaching your door. You hear that wind? Reminds me of what I just escaped from.
Oh, it's typical Edinburgh weather, Mr. Bell. Perhaps you've heard that there's no language richer in terms of reproach against the howling wind than the Scots dialect. Snell, Bly, Nearly, Scouthering, to mention just a handful. All of them words that carry a shiver with them. Yes, as Stevenson so aptly puts it, Edinburgh pays cruelly for our high seat and commanding views in one of the vilest climates under heaven. She's liable to be beaten upon by all the winds that blow, to be drenched with rain, to be buried in cold sea fogs out of the east, and powdered with the snow as it comes flying southward from the Highland hills. The weather is raw and boisterous in winter, shifty and ungenial in summer, and a downright purgatory in the spring.
It sounds like a pretty unattractive place, Dr. Watson.
Oh, there you're entirely wrong, Mr. Bell. Nowhere will you find such stark magnificence, such grim beauty. Edinburgh, the great granite sphinx of the north, crouching high on a towering rock and looking across the intervening plains to the waters of the Forth and to the North Sea. Fascinating, regal, splendid, and cruel. Yes, I think this is just the night to tell the story of the haunted Bagpipes, one of the weirdest and most gruesome adventures that Holmes and I ever shared. The setting was Edinburgh, and the motivating character, Professor Moriarty.
Professor Moriarty, the man Holmes called the Napoleon of crime.
Exactly.
I wondered when we were going to have another of your famous bouts with Professor Moriarty. They're always pretty hair-raising.
Yes, and I think I can safely promise you that this is the most hair-raising of the lot. In fact, it's so unbelievably macabre and gruesome that I've never told it to any but to my closest friends, those who know that I'm a truthful man. In fact, sometimes, in the sane light of day, I doubt myself that this adventure really happened. But a night like this brings it all back to me in all its horror. Yes, Mr. Bell, on a night like this we realize that anything is possible.
Ladies and gentlemen, before Dr. Watson begins his story, men, I have a friend who used to comb his hair with water. After the water dried, his hair would get out of place and he didn't look neatly groomed. Well, I ran into him last Saturday and he said he'd heard me talking about Kreml hair tonic and decided to try it. You should see the big improvement Kreml made in his appearance. Why, he looked like a different man. You see, Kreml contains a special combination of hair grooming ingredients which is found in no other hair tonic. That's why it keeps every hair in place all day, just as you combed it in the morning. Kreml gives hair a healthy-looking luster, too. Yet it never leaves hair feeling greasy or dirty like some of those sticky preparations you want to wash right out. Kreml always feels and looks so clean on your hair and scalp. It always gives hair such a clean-cut, prosperous appearance. Why not try it? Spelled Kreml, Kreml hair tonic. Now, Dr. Watson, won't you please go on with the story? The shivers run up and down my spine in anticipation.
Well, I certainly will. As I look back on that particular visit to Edinburgh, it seems that a cold fear settled into the very marrow of my bones from the moment we got off the train late one winter afternoon and caught our first glimpse of Edinburgh Castle rising bleak and menacing out of a cloud of fog and rain.
There it is, Watson, in all its austere majesty, Edinburgh Castle.
Nice, impressive pile of stone. Nice and grim.
No grimmer than its history, Watson. Part castle, part fortress, part prison. Wars have been plotted there. Dancing has lasted deep into the night. Murder has been done in its chambers.
Well, this is no time to stand here chatting. Let's get out in this confounded rain.
Rain, Watson? You are getting soft. This isn't rain, it's just a good Scotch mist.
Mist, my grandmother. I'm soaked to the skin and my teeth are chattering like castanets. Thank heaven the town has a few modern hotels. A nice hot toddy at the Royal, eh?
I'm sorry to disappoint you, Watson, but this is not a pleasure trip. We must forego the luxuries of Princess Street and take up our quarters in the Old Town.
The Old Town? Holmes, you mean that we're going to live in one of those crumbling grey stone houses all huddled together on the slope leading up to the castle?
Exactly.
Why, they're nothing but tenements.
Those lands, as they're called, once housed the flower of the Scottish nobility. In the old days, this was a walled city, and space was at a premium. That is why those crazy buildings tower 8 and 10 stories into the air.
Yes, but the days of the nobility are over. Those tenements are full of goodness knows what.
True. What more suitable dwelling place could one imagine for our friend, Professor Moriarty?
Professor Moriarty?
Quite. You may have noticed, Watson, that London has been singularly free from crime during the last few months. And for a very good reason. Professor Moriarty was not in residence.
Oh, you mean that you think we've succeeded in driving him out?
No, Watson. Let us not underrate the professor. He is not in London because he has business elsewhere. But where? I confess I was in complete ignorance until the day before yesterday morning, when I received a telegram informing me that one of Moriarty's chief assistants had been seen prowling through the graves at Greyfriars. Then I remembered that Professor Moriarty has a particular reason for hating Edinburgh. He's not a man to forget his grudges, Watson. The question is, shall we be in time to prevent his revenge? But here, get into this cab before you catch pneumonia.
Professor Moriarty in Edinburgh. I thought the place was even more forbidding than usual.
Oh, cabby, let us out in front of St. Giles.
Aye. I say, Holmes, why St. Giles? You're not going in for sightseeing this time of day?
No, Watson. We must go from there on by foot, I'm afraid.
By foot in this weather? The gutters are fairly running with muddy water.
No one asked you to walk in the gutters, Watson.
Here you be. St. Giles.
So it is. Come along, Watson.
Oh, gracious me, this rain.
I say, cabby, where's Hangman's Lane from here?
Lash, you'll no be going there.
Why not? It's where we hope to spend the night.
'Tis an unchancy spot, gentlemen. You'll no find me going up Hangman's Lane after dark.
As bad as that, huh?
I'll no stand here arguing with you. It's the first land back of the kirk, if you must go.
Thanks. Here, drink to our health.
Achone. There you stand, two fine, upstanding gentlemen, hale and hearty. With a black shadow of death looking over your shoulder.
Huh? Shadow of death?
Ah, well. Didn't say I didn't warn you. Come along, Beatrice.
Cheerful individual. Holmes, what do you say? Let's go back and spend the night at a good hotel. We can't possibly find any lodgings in a place like Hangman's Lane.
But we shall, Watson. We shall. They're expecting us. Come along.
What do you mean, they're expecting us?
I mean the owner of most of the tenements in Hangman's Lane has arranged that we should be taken care of. He is most anxious to have us inspect his property.
Oh, very well, but I don't see what that has got to do with our search for Professor Moriarty.
Whenever anything curious and inexplicable happens in the professor's neighborhood, the chances are he's mixed up in it. Ah, here's Hangman's Lane. Narrow, steep little byway, Watson?
I don't like it, Holmes. No lights in any of the windows. Usually these tall houses are overrun with inhabitants. Several families to a floor. Look, the buildings in this street look positively deserted.
They are deserted, Watson. That's the most interesting part of it.
Oh, really?
One particular house hasn't been open for several hundred years. But during the last month, the rest of the tenements have been vacated, too. Their inhabitants have fled from them like rats from a sinking ship. The rents have been lowered to the vanishing point, and still there are no takers. The people hereabouts seem to think the whole street is haunted.
Couldn't we come up here and look the place over in the daytime, Holmes? Look, already the light's beginning to fade.
Unfortunately, Watson, the phenomena we're going to investigate occur only at night.
Oh, dear.
Ah, here's the house we're to stay in. There should be a bell somewhere. Yes.
Well, perhaps there isn't anyone to let us in.
I think there will be, Watson. Yes, I hear footsteps.
Obey yes.
Mr. Holmes and Dr. Watson.
Oh, the Lord be thanked. One moment, gentlemen. I'll unbar the door. Oh, be pleased to enter.
Go ahead, Watson.
Good Lord, it's dark in here.
And if you'll kindly step this way, there's a broad blaze burning and candles lit in the back parlour. Go canny, gentlemen. This corridor is not so smooth as once it was.
Yeah, so I discovered.
This is the place. Please enter.
Oh, well, this is more like it, eh, Holmes? What a magnificent old room. Just look at that fireplace.
Aye. For once a blithe bit, this old house. Full of lords and their ladies, they say. But here, gentlemen, will you be standing in front of the fire and drying your bricks?
Not a bad idea. We're pretty wet, eh, Watson?
Wet?
There's a brandy on the shell of your what now, we drop it. A tasty cockle pie in a pot. And no, you'll forgive me. I'm unshunk myself a while.
Going so soon? But we've just arrived.
Oh, Mr. Holmes, I dare not stay after sundown. I'm late to let you alone, but I dare not stay. But in a fash yourself. I'll return them on early.
But what is there to be afraid of?
The neighbours.
Neighbours?
Aye, the neighbours in the old Hurley house other side of this wall.
But no one has lived in that house next door for years.
Not humans, no. No living man has crossed the doorstone this 100 year. But there be others. Ogres. You can hear the rattle of their going and coming every night through the wall.
Have you ever heard these ghosts, or bogles, as you call them?
No, I certainly have not. I will not stay after sundown. But the bogles, there's no the worst of it.
Really?
Aye. At times you can hear the sound of doodling.
Sound of bagpipes, eh?
Aye. And that's when they be entertaining old Horny yourself.
The devil himself?
Aye.
The ghosts next door move in very high society, eh, Watson?
What was that?
Just the wind in the chimney.
You would have swore with the devil's stool sucker.
No, I don't think so.
I'll not be waiting to find out. When the skirling begins, this is the hoose at Selders like it was singing a dirge. Good night, gentlemen, and God help you.
She was frightened, all right. I wish that chimney would stop moaning.
But those two legends, the house next door and the haunted bagpipes, they're famous Edinburgh superstitions. I'd like to hear more about them.
Well, I've heard more than I want to already. Confound that chimney.
That building next door is one of the so-called fatal houses.
Fatal houses?
Houses marked generations ago by the Great Plague. Discipline in the time of pestilence was sharp and sudden. The houses having the disease were marked by a large cross. No one dared enter or leave. Furniture was destroyed and houses sealed up. In those houses, of which one or two still remain, the plague is supposed to lie ambushed like a basilisk, ready to escape and spread sickness and death through the city once the doors are open.
Oh, but that's ridiculous, Holmes, ridiculous. Germs can't sustain themselves like that. At least we've no medical evidence that they can. Wish we'd gone to an hotel.
The other legend is not quite so gruesome.
Oh, I'm delighted to hear it.
It's about a secret passage that is supposed to have existed in the time of Mary, Queen of Scots, between Edinburgh Castle and Holyrood Palace, which lies at the other end of town. About a century and a half ago, a piper made a bet that he could walk the length of it. He started at the castle, piping merrily. The crowds were able to follow him through the streets above by the sound of the skirling. Everything was going smoothly. They followed the sound down from the castle along the top of the hill. Just about here, the piping stopped suddenly in the middle of a note. And that was the last that was ever heard of the piper.
Noxious gas, most probably.
Some say the devil was so captivated by his playing that he carried him off to hell.
Well, what of it? As long as he stays there and doesn't go about waking up the neighbors.
But that's just what he has been doing for the last month or so.
Oh, nonsense. It's just a noisy chimney like this one. Why should a ghost who's kept quiet for over 100 years suddenly decide to return and annoy people?
That, my dear Watson, is what I'm anxious to find out.
Holmes. Holmes, do you hear that?
By Jove. Then it's more than just a superstition.
Holmes, it's a piper. The devil's bagpiper. He's playing in the house next door.
Splendid.
So what are we going to do? Want me to inform the authorities?
And have them put the devil in jail? No, Watson, I have a better plan. I suggest we go over and call on the old gentleman himself.
In just a moment, we'll find out what Sherlock Holmes discovers in the mysterious house next door. Men, if you're wise, you'll start right away and take better care of the hair you've got. Remember, handsome, healthy-looking hair needs a hygienic scalp. So why be content with just any hair dressing when you can enjoy the extra advantages of Kreml Hair Tonic? This highly specialized hair tonic goes in for modern, natural-looking hair grooming. It keeps hair perfectly groomed all day long, looking so neat and attractive, yet never gives hair that cheap, greasy patent leather look. But Kreml does lots more than keep hair looking handsome. Kreml is simply great to lubricate a dry scalp. And at the same time, it removes dandruff flakes and leaves the scalp feeling so alive and tingling. And if your hair breaks off and falls when you comb it because it's so dry, use Kreml, which actually helps condition hair in that it leaves it feeling so much softer and more pliable. And since Kreml is never sticky or gummy, and because it's such a nice, clean product, you can use it every day and your hair will always look its very best. Buy a bottle of Kreml at any drug counter. Ask for an application at your barber shop. Kreml, Kreml Hair Tonic. Now, Dr. Watson, what about the ghostly bagpiper? Did Holmes ever really...
No, not so fast, Mr. Bell. Holmes insisted that we investigate the house next door at once. And I must admit that it was with some misgivings I followed him into the street.
Come along, Watson. Oh, another little bit of local superstition I forgot to mention. They say that the corpses of people who died here of the plague sometimes come to life and wander about the house.
Holmes, I wish you wouldn't talk like that. Oh, this sleet cutting into my face like a knife.
Here's the doorway. I'll find out if the key still works.
Yes, it looks more like a crowbar than a key.
I only hope the lock isn't too rusty. Won't budge.
Thank heaven. Let's go back.
Oh, give me that oil can. Perhaps a few drops of oil.
There you are.
Confound this lock. No good trying to break the door in. It's as solid as Gibraltar.
A good deal more solid than the house itself, judging by that long crack over the archway up there.
Yes, that is a crack. The building is settling, Watson. That crack... Hello, I turned the key. Lock's decided to work. The door sticks now. Hinges rusty. Come on, Watson, get your back into it.
It's moving, Holmes.
Yes, so is that crack. Hurry, help me close the door before the archway falls on us.
Isn't it quiet? Can't even hear the wind. Smells like a tomb.
Yes, but there's something else. Something unhealthy. Like a disease I smelt once in the tropics.
Holmes, you don't think it's true that the plague is still...
Nonsense. You yourself said it wasn't possible. Better light that dark lantern we brought along.
Yes, indeed. I hate bumping about in the dark. I can't say that it's much more cheerful in the light. Look at those great dirty cobwebs. That old tapestry hanging in shreds.
Yes, nothing has been moved since the plague first touched the house. Look there in that room. That old oak table set for a meal. One of the goblets overturned.
It gives me the creeps up and down my spine.
Nothing else of interest here. Let's get on to the next room.
How hollow our footsteps sound.
Yes. This must have been the living room of the house. Ashes of a bygone fire still on the hearth.
Holmes. Look. There's some people seated in those chairs over there.
Nonsense. Give me the lantern. By Jove, I think you're right. That smells stronger in here. We'll soon find out. Watson, hold the lantern.
Holmes. It's a body. A naked body.
A corpse, Watson. A cadaver.
Holmes, don't touch it. For the love of heaven, don't touch it.
Why, Watson?
Can't you see? The swollen eyes, the froth at the mouth, the flesh turned black. I've never seen it before, but those are the symptoms, Holmes. That's the Black Plague.
What? That's not possible. That's crazy. Here, look. Let me look at the other chairs. Yes, here an old man and here a woman.
All victims of the Black Death. Holmes, these are the bodies of people who died in this house centuries ago of the plague. But they're not decayed. It's not possible. We must be going mad.
Tell me quick, Watson. Did women do their hair with fringes at the time of the last plague?
Fringes? Now I know that we're crazy.
Quiet, Watson. You hear that?
It's the devil coming with his piper. He's going to make him dance.
The old woman was right. The house does vibrate to the sound of those pipes.
He's coming, Holmes. He's coming.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Dear me, if it isn't our friend Professor Moriarty. I had no idea you were a musician.
You admire my piping, eh? Yes, I wondered how long it would take you to find me. Allow me to congratulate you, Mr. Holmes. You're very prompt.
Most flattering, Professor. But I assure you it was simplicity itself. You didn't think I'd overlook anything as obvious as a sealed house and the haunted bagpiper who so conveniently came back to life in the past month?
Yes, I might have known my little ruse to get rid of my superstitious neighbors wouldn't keep Sherlock Holmes away. Perhaps it's just as well. You've been getting in my way quite a bit lately, Mr. Holmes. I shall have to continue my experiments begun on these three poor devils. On yourself and Dr. Watson.
You mean the plague? You're going to give us the Black Plague?
I really must try my serum on two healthy specimens before I pronounce it perfect. After all, these three, an old beggar, a thief dying of starvation, and a woman of ill repute, they could hardly be expected to resist the disease.
That's very interesting. I was just assuring Dr. Watson that these corpses were quite recent because I was sure that women didn't wear fringes during the last pestilence.
And Dr. Watson was afraid they might be victims of the original plague. But in a sense, he's right. The victims are recent, but they were killed by the germs of the original Black Death. Most amusing, isn't it?
Fascinating. Tell me, how did you discover those germs?
They were in this house. I found a nice little culture of them in a glass of calf's foot jelly, which was on the table in the front room. How they ever survived as long as this, I can't imagine. But here, gentlemen, come into my laboratory. I want to show you what I've done with them.
Holmes, what shall we do? The Black Plague. It's a terrible thing. The man's mad.
Humor him, Watson. Humor him.
Shall I?
Here we are, gentlemen. Quite a nice modern little outlay for such an ancient house.
Yes, it is an ancient house, Professor.
But here, this little test tube, it contains enough of the Black Plague to wipe out the entire city of Edinburgh.
Yes, I rather thought that was your purpose. You've never forgotten how they drove you out at the time of the Burke and Hare scandal.
You know about that?
Quite. Your name wasn't Moriarty then, huh?
What of it?
You were Dr. Knox's young assistant at the time. Together, you were carrying on some exciting experiments.
Yes, Mr. Holmes. Experiments that might have saved the world a great deal of suffering.
But you were short of cadavers. It wasn't you, by any chance, who suggested to Burke and Hare, those two body snatchers, that a body did not have to be legally dead to be acceptable?
Well, what if I did? They only killed the refuse of the city. Beggars, scum.
Quite. But they met the hangman nonetheless.
Aye, the fools. What price the death of a few when we might have discovered a cure that would have saved all humanity? Humanity. Bah, I hate it. Ever since then, I'd sworn I'd get revenge on humanity, and the law-abiding citizens of Edinburgh in particular. And now, the time has come. Tomorrow, the contents of this test tube will spread destruction throughout the city. But in the meantime, you, Mr. Holmes, and you, Dr. Watson, you know too much. You shall be the first of the law-abiding citizens to feel the prick of my little needle. Just a moment till I prepare my instruments.
Stop him, Holmes. Stop him.
Do not move. Gentlemen, one drop out of this test tube, even in its present state, is enough to cause death.
I quite agree. By the way, Professor Moriarty, while you are preparing your solution, you have no objections if I play a tune on your bagpipes? I used to be rather good at them in my younger days.
Not at all, if it'll amuse you.
Quite. Watson, stand here beside me against this wall.
No,
Don't argue.
Holmes, the house. It's vibrating. I can feel the wall quiver. That's the note that does it.
Hold on there. You're shaking the house.
The foundations. I can hear them cracking.
Look out, man. You'll bring the house down.
Oh, that's what we intend to do.
The walls. I've got to get out of here.
We can't. The front door's blocked.
The secret passage in the basement. If I can reach it in time.
Holmes, he's dropped the test tube. It's spreading across the floor.
Watson, step back into the fireplace. Hurry.
So, Mr. Bell, Holmes played that note on the bagpipes until the house crashed in upon itself.
But, Dr. Watson, weren't you killed?
Not quite, Mr. Bell. No. Holmes had deduced from that crack above the front door that the house was weak, and he also guessed which way it would fall if it did cave in. The wall that we were standing against and the fireplace alone were left standing. If you've seen any ruined castles, Mr. Bell, you'll notice how frequently that seems to happen.
And Professor Moriarty, did he escape?
Unfortunately, he did, Mr. Bell, through the secret passage in the basement which he had mentioned.
But the Black Plague and those corpses, what did you do about that?
We left them where they were. No use informing the authorities. They wouldn't have believed us, and besides, it would have been too dangerous to go poking about in the ruins. No, Holmes simply poured the spirits from our lantern on the old rafters and started a fire. The wood was as dry as tinder, and there was quite a blaze. And fire, Mr. Bell, is a great purifier.
And so you prevented an outbreak of the Black Death. That's a gruesome story. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Watson will return in just a moment to tell us something about the thrilling Sherlock Holmes mystery he has for us next Monday night. Ladies, those beautiful Powers models whose photographs you see in magazines always have to keep their hair shining bright with dazzling highlights. Now, here's how they do it.
Powers models were among the very first to discover how Kreml shampoo brings out all the natural sparkling luster of each tiny strand of hair. How it keeps hair simply radiant for days.
Yes, and those lovely Powers models told me that no other shampoo gives their hair more natural, glossy luster. It never dries the hair or makes it brittle.
Well, that's because Kreml shampoo has such a beneficial oil base. It actually helps hair, and it keeps the hair from becoming dry.
Then, ladies, why not take a tip from beauty-wise Powers models? See how easy it is to glamour bathe your hair to a vision of tantalizing beauty. Buy a bottle of Kreml shampoo at any drug counter. Kreml, Kreml shampoo. Now, Dr. Watson, what about next week?
Well, now, let me see. I wonder. Next week, I think I'll tell you the story of an experience that Sherlock Holmes and I had was something I was convinced was an invention of the devil. I call it the adventure of the horseless carriage.
Horseless carriage? You mean one of the early automobiles?
One of the very earliest, Mr. Bell. Holmes was called in to protect the inventor and, in the end, had to solve the mystery of his murder.
Tonight's Sherlock Holmes adventure was suggested by an incident in Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's story, The Final Problem. Nigel Bruce appeared by permission of California Pictures. Tom Conway through the courtesy of Eagle Lion Pictures. The Sherlock Holmes series is produced by Tom McKnight, with original music composed and conducted by Alex Steinert. This is Joseph Bell, speaking for Kreml Hair Tonic and Kreml Shampoo, inviting you to be with us next week at this same time, when Dr. Watson will tell us about the adventure of the horseless carriage. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
Personal notice. Danger is my stock in trade. If the job's too tough for you to handle, you've got a job for me. George Valentine. Write full details.
Yes, it's Let George Do It, brought to you by Preem. P-R-E-A-M. The new miracle way to cream your coffee. We'll begin tonight's transcribed adventure of George Valentine in a moment, but first...
Oh, the new way to cream it is to Preem it gets Preem. That's Preem with a capital P.
Over all other products for creaming your coffee, you'll prefer Preem in instant powdered form. P-R-E-A-M. Here's why. First, Preem has a rich, delicious flavor because it's made entirely from fresh sweet cream and other milk products. Yet when you use Preem in your coffee, every cup contains only about half as many calories as if you used coffee cream. And then Preem is wonderfully convenient. It never sours, never turns. Keeps indefinitely while sealed. Open for everyday use, Preem stays fresh tasting to the last spoonful on your kitchen shelf or in your refrigerator. And last but not least, this new dairy miracle actually saves you more than 1/3 the cost of coffee cream. Tomorrow, start serving Preem whenever you serve coffee. P-R-E-A-M. The new way to cream it is to Preem it.
Preem gets Preem with a capital P.
And now, tonight's adventure of George Valentine, the ghost of Ireland Betty.
Dear Mr. Valentine. Valentine? Huh. Dear Mr. Valentine, I live in an enormous rambling house built like an Italian villa. Well, that's funny. What else did she write? What was the rest of it? What? Crying. It's crying, that's what it is. It's crying. I know it is. It's crying. That's what... Where is it? It's crying. I know it's crying. I know it.
Oh, Christine. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Where are you going in such a hurry?
Daddy, I'm sorry, but I just... Listen, Miss...
Yes, my dear. Oh, Christine, you've had such a long trip. I thought you were going to lie down and rest a while. Did you hear something, my dear?
No. No, I didn't hear anything. Mr. Valentine, who is he? Why were you writing him a letter, Miss Dowdy, about the house? Here, the letter you didn't finish.
Oh, that. But I did finish another one. That one blotted. Yes, I've already written Mr. Valentine. He's just a friend of mine.
Oh.
It's lonely here, and I thought perhaps he might like to call on me. Now you run along and get your rest. There's nothing to be afraid of in the old place. You may hear a shutter banging once in a while, but that's all. That's absolutely all.
All right, Miss Dowdy. Sorry my imagination seems to... I'm sorry I bothered you.
Miss Dowdy, I got the letter you wrote to me all right, but...
Please don't talk so loud, Mr. Valentine. In here, Miss Brooks.
Of course. Oh, what a lovely old room.
Christine is asleep. I don't want to disturb her.
That's Christine O'Casey?
Yes, she just got here, you know, from Canada. She's been there since before her aunt's death, several months ago. Won't you sit down?
Thanks, Miss Dowdy, but I'm not sure we're staying.
Oh, but I wrote you
Yes, you wrote in your letter that you wanted a man investigated, a Professor E.L. Gifford from Denver.
Yes, that's right, Professor Gifford.
You sounded as though you wanted us to, to get something on him.
Oh, now, you must understand.
And yet, as I gather, all you suspect about this Professor Gifford is that he's liable to buy this house.
Yes, that's just it. You see, Mr. Eustace, the real estate man, has received this offer from Denver.
Yes, I know. I've already talked to Mr. Eustace. And I find he's also the executor of estate for one Miss Betty O'Casey, who used to own the house.
Yes, for Betty, the one who died. Mm-hmm. That's Christine's aunt.
And I find you don't even have anything to do with the sale of this house, Miss Dowdy. You don't even own it, any part of it.
No, I don't. But I was Betty O'Casey's companion for more than 20 years, Mr. Valentine.
Sure, I understand. She left you pretty well taken care of, right? Only the house went to the principal beneficiary, Christine, her relative.
And it's Christine's desire to sell, according to Mr. Eustace.
That's why she's here, to speed up a sale, any sale.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but Miss Dowdy, what do you have against this professor? Why shouldn't he buy the house? Why should you want to hire me to interfere with any possible sale?
The professor, he's not the right type.
Not the right type?
Yes.
Well, if the house is Christine's, well, what does she say? Haven't you talked to her about it?
Christine isn't... Well, she's not sympathetic to the house.
What?
She's not sympathetic. She doesn't understand. She's young and cynical. And this isn't just a usual house, Mr. Valentine.
Well, I grant you it's pretty old, valuable maybe, but not so easy to get rid of.
We looked all over for this house years ago. It was just what Ireland Betty wanted. Oh, it made her so happy.
Oh, wait a minute.
Who? Betty O'Casey. Ireland Betty. Oh, I know. It does make her sound rather like an apple woman, but it was a nickname. Many people called her that.
Ireland Betty? Excuse me, but it sounds more to me like the name of a racehorse.
Oh, she would have loved to hear you say that. She owned some horses once.
Oh?
She was so enthusiastic, so interested in everything. And she was no more recently Irish than I am. But she called herself second cousin to a leprechaun.
Sounds like quite a woman.
A pixie, Miss Brooks, not a woman. Oh, not at all like her niece, the little modern realist, the unbeliever.
Unbeliever in what, Miss Dowdy? Leprechauns?
Well, unbeliever in this house, for one thing.
You'll have to be more specific. What is there about this place, Miss Dowdy, that you don't want it sold? Because that is the idea, isn't it? You don't want anyone else living here. Why?
Mr. Valentine, Ireland Betty and I became great believers in... Well, she looked all over to find this house, because this house was supposed to have... Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Valentine, that I've troubled you. You're too young yourself, and a good deal more honest than I thought you would be.
What? Now, wait a minute.
Excuse me. I'm sorry.
Wait a minute. How on earth did you get in here?
With a key, naturally. Greetings, my dear Miss Dowdy. You haven't changed a bit.
Where did you get her? Oh, let go of my hand.
Oh, it won't bite you. Tape measure to see if there's space for a piano in the parlor. besides my recording instrument.
Excuse me, Miss Dowdy, but is this the guy?
The guy? Professor Gifford.
Yes, Mr. Valentine.
How do you do?
Miss Brooks.
Tom.
How do you do? Mr. Valentine was just leaving.
No.
What?
No, I wasn't going anywhere. I was just going to say I'd like to stick around for a while.
Oh, Mr. Valentine.
But of course, you can help me hold one end of the tape measure, Mr. Valentine.
Mm-hmm.
Come along. I am sorry I intruded, Miss Dowdy, but I was to meet Eustace here. He gave me the key. Oh, Eustace! Mr. Eustace! Do come along, Mr. Valentine.
Right. Just us and an almost empty piece of real estate, Professor Gifford. What's your business, Professor?
My own happiness, Mr. Valentine. What's yours?
No, what I meant was, what are you a professor of?
Nothing.
Huh?
The sort of nothing that is something. The sort of something that is nothing until it is seen or heard by man. Until man, like myself, is willing to admit that he sees what he can't understand, what no one understands.
Huh? That makes as much sense as a scrambled jigsaw puzzle.
Oh, it's quite simple. I'm a student of psychic research. Supernatural beings.
Oh, brother, no, not that.
Only fools laugh, Mr. Valentine.
Okay, I'm not laughing. You, believe in ghosts, huh?
So does Miss Dowdy. So did Ireland Betty. Bless her soul. So does this house. Yes, most of all, this house.
So that's why you're buying it. Place is infested with ghosts, eh?
Stoffer. Not every house has a ghost, you know, any more than it has good plumbing. But that's why Betty bought it originally. Been a ghost reported off and on past 100 years. Shall we rejoin the ladies?
Yeah, I'm getting scared.
I almost had this house once before, Valentine. Ireland Betty rather had her cap set for me.
She did not.
Yes, I would have had it for nothing then, if it hadn't been for her bodyguard here.
Will you throw him out of here, or do I have to?
No sense of humor, that Dowdy.
All right, mister.
Because it's true. Ireland Betty pursued me like the beautiful banshee that she was. She came galloping at me like...
Yeah, I said never mind.
Mr. Valentine.
And as for you, Miss Dowdy...
No, please, be quiet. Listen. Huh? But, Miss Dowdy, what... George.
Don't move anyone. That's what it sounds like. I've never known. We've always wondered. Cry.
Yes. That's what it is. I've never heard it before.
Come on, cut it out, both of you. Sure, it's crying, all right, but that's not any ghost.
Miss Dowdy, where are you? Mr. Eustace, that's his voice. Get down here, somebody, will you? Come help me. It's Christine.
My knees, my forehead.
Oh, no. You're all right now, Christine.
I found her just lying there on the stone outside her aunt's window.
There in the sunken garden, Mr. Eustace?
Yes, that's right. Whimpering, almost unconscious. She'd had a terrible fall. I was coming up by the side entrance, you see. And
What makes you think she just had a fall? Christine, what happened? Can you tell me? Did you fall?
No, I didn't. Well, then tell us. What was it? I don't know what happened, Miss Dowdy.
Oh, now look here.
George, she's just woozy. Let her rest.
Did you see the ghost, Christine?
Oh, Professor, for the love of my...
No, I didn't. I tell you, there's no such thing as ghosts. It's all your imagination.
I saw the ghost once myself. The night your aunt died. Perhaps even she saw it. Over the lawn by the summer house.
What are you talking about? Who saw what when? I wasn't here. You never told me.
The ghost. Nothing to upset yourself over. And I'm sure Miss Dowdy, unless she cares to lie, will admit that she, too, saw...
But what if I did? What if I did see it? It doesn't have anything to do with this. It doesn't. Miss Dowdy.
Going down like 9 cents, aren't they? And all knocked down by a ghost. All right, now come on, somebody.
I think she just noticed where you were found, Christine.
What?
The stone floor outside your aunt's window, Christine. Exactly where you were. That's where your aunt fell. Where she died. The night that we saw the ghost. Coincidence, I suppose. That's all.
Sure as you enjoy good coffee, you'll enjoy coffee creamed with Preem. Pream. For this new 100% dairy product in convenient powdered form has a truly delicious flavor. And Preem is thrifty. Saves over 1/3 on coffee cream costs. No wonder you'll prefer Preem to all other coffee creaming products. You'll be delighted to find Preem has many other uses, too. It's perfect for sauces, smooth, luscious gravies, and richer, creamier soups. If you'd like to discover how Preem can help you serve tastier and more economical meals, you'll want to send for the wonderful new Preem recipe booklet we're offering you absolutely free. This brand new collection of Preem recipes includes easier, quicker, surer ways to make such family favorites as soufflés, dressing, shortcakes, plus tested time-saving recipes for delectable new desserts. For your free Preem booklet, just drop a card or letter with your name and address to Preem Test Kitchen, Box 959G, Columbus 16, Ohio. Preem Test Kitchen, Box 959G, Columbus 16, Ohio. Don't miss this exciting offer. Send for your free copy of the new Preem recipe collection right away. And now, back to George Valentine.
Miss Brooks, you here? Miss Brooks, where are you? Where did you go?
Christine, here I am. I just went back to the kitchen to get some ice. What's the matter?
Be quiet. The crying. Listen, Miss. There's my imagination at work.
Oh, here, now lie down again. Put this on your forehead.
My forehead's all right.
The doctor said he'd be out later to take a look at it.
Yeah, sure.
You've been pretty sick up in Canada, haven't you?
Yes, and I'm tired and My aunt had asthma, you know.
Did she? But that wasn't what she died of, was it?
Well, sort of. That's what the doctor wrote me. I wasn't here, you know. We'd been having a fight, and she had guests for the weekend, so I just got in my car and drove off. See that window there?
Mm-hmm.
French doors? There's no guardrail outside it. And he thought she must have opened the doors trying to get more air. She was having one of her attacks. And, well, she fell.
To the stone below.
They found her the next morning.
Only now these people talk about a ghost. You don't suppose she opened the window and saw it out there herself?
Stop it. Not you, too.
How did you get hurt? Did you fall out of the window, too?
No. I was out there and I tripped and fell. Really, that's all.
All right. Well, why don't you want to talk about it to the others? What is it about this house that upsets you so?
Everything about it, Miss Brooks. I hate it. I've always hated it. My aunt and I used to fight about it. She was so wonderful. But when she'd take up with those fads, those crazy people, those crazy superstitions, that awful Professor Gifford that she went chasing after trying to impress. All this talk about ectoplasm and manifestations and... You blame me?
Christina, I don't believe in such things any more than you do. But I would blame you if you kept too much to yourself. If you attributed certain things to your own imagination just because you've been sick and then tired and upset.
What do you mean?
I mean what you heard when I was still in the kitchen. I mean why you've come back here and what you may have seen and what you suspect about these people. About your aunt's death.
I don't really know. Is Mr. Valentine going to stay here?
Yes, Christine.
Where is he now? He'll be close. He'll be right here, won't he?
Yes, of course. He's just chatting with Miss Dowdy. She's probably showing him around the place.
Now, Mr. Eustace, suppose you tell me the truth about what you saw that night.
Well, my room was third story. I'd been reading in bed. There'd been a good deal of talk at dinner about the ghost, it being the proper time of year for appearance and all.
Mm-hmm.
Naturally, I tried to be tolerant, but... Well, perhaps I did watch a little. You see, it's supposed to appear just momentarily out back by the summer house, moving slowly and then sort of floating away.
Mm-hmm. And, did it?
Well, for heaven's sake, it didn't actually... I didn't hear anything, and certainly whatever it was had no substance, no body. Naturally, the next morning I didn't say anything. Why should I? An effect of all the talk, a trick of the imagination.
Of course. You'd have been laughed at. You don't believe in ghosts. Well, I do, Mr. Eustace.
What?
I believe in the kind of ghost that can be tricked up by a human being. And maybe it's being tricked up again.
George, I sneaked out one of Christine's shoes. See? The heel here is torn off.
Yeah. Now, that's where she fell.
Mm-hmm.
Stone floor of the sunken garden beneath the overhang there.
Dark. George, listen.
Loose shutter, that's all. Stone steps here have mud on the side. Roses have been watered. And mud on Christine's shoes.
But if she came down here, she would have been on the path.
Hold it. Yeah, here we are. I can feel the footprint where she stepped off the path by the top of the steps.
The heel. Oh, it's the one, all right.
Yeah.
And that must have been how she tripped and fell down.
Yeah, they can't hear us, Angel, but they will if we go back, so... Well, it's a lovely place, all right. A little run down, maybe, but if the gardens out here were fixed up, I'm sure they... Brooksy, look out!
The shutter. Someone pushed the shutter. I almost...
Sure, that's what it was we heard.
I'm all right, George. You go on. Get up there and find out...
Shh, quiet.
But, George... From above, it's so dark. I look just like Christine. That must have been meant.
I'd never find anybody up there. There's nobody in this house but ghosts, didn't you know? Well, Angel, we're going to catch one before the ghost succeeds at murder.
Oh, yes, Mr. Valentine. I guess that's where I lost my heel, where I tripped only...
Yeah, you were coming along the path, Christine. You stepped off it, tripped, and rolled down the stone steps.
Yes.
You were out here, walking with the summer house, but you didn't want anybody to know. Let's see, it was Eustace who found you. What happened? You see him coming and run for the house?
Yes, that's right. I ran.
Only why'd you step off the path?
Well, there was a shovel or a rake or something lying across the path.
Oh, I get it. Only it's not there now.
I didn't look. Mr. Valentine, I did suspect something for a long time. But I didn't know what I was looking for, or why,
or whether you could find anything back here that would show you how the ghost worked that night your aunt died.
That's what I mean. The whimpering, crying ghost, the thing with no substance that's supposed to appear and then float away. Aunt Betty told me where she expected to see it.
Mr. Valentine!
Well, listen to that, rising to the bait already.
Mr. Valentine, where have you gone?
Here, right in front of you, Miss Dowdy.
Oh, I've got to see you alone. I've got to.
Anything you have to say, you can say right in front of her, only say it fast.
It's about the ghost.
I know it's about the ghost.
Oh, it was only to impress Gifford. You've got to realize that.
Yeah, it wasn't to scare anybody, if that's what you're trying to say. I'm smart enough to figure that Ireland Betty didn't fall from her window out of fright on seeing the ghost. She wasn't the type. So if it was you who played the ghost that night, lady...
No, that's not what I'm trying to say. It was Ireland Betty. It was she herself who did it.
What?
Miss Dowdy. Yes, she did. Oh, I know it sounds crazy, but she had to. She'd never been able to locate the ghost in the house, and she had bragged. And she didn't want Professor Gifford to be disappointed. That's why I didn't want him to get the house. He might have found out.
Okay, now, slow down. All you're claiming is there isn't any ghost. Is that it? There never has been one in this house. Only why, then?
Mr. Valentine, listen to me. If Betty was out here instead of in her room, and you think she was murdered...
Of course, I know. She died before she ever got back to her room, and she was probably running just like Christine here was.
Yes, only if that's the case,
It's
then...
It's okay. I'll take care of everything.
Mr. Valentine.
Come on, Christine. Let's head back to the house. See you later, Miss Dowdy. Well, the whole thing's pretty simple, I guess, isn't it?
I don't understand at all, any of it.
Don't you? You understand a good deal about the ghost.
But Aunt Betty told me...
Sure. I was supposed to look. But nobody says they've ever heard it, except you. The whimpering, the crying. Christine, were you here in the garden that night with your aunt? Is that when you thought you heard the crying?
No, I've really heard it. Someone else...
Were you hiding out here? Did you pretend to leave for Canada and then come back and hide and scare her? Oh, sure, you don't believe in ghosts. You knew the little old pixie'd be playing the part. So she was scared and ran, just like you did, down the path.
Mr. Valentine, stop it. You don't understand.
What's the matter? You afraid to walk down this path? Afraid you'll trip on something again? A rake that you might see when you're running, only it's so dark you can't even see your hand in front of your face?
No, it wasn't a rake. I don't know what it was.
I know what it was, young lady. It wasn't anything.
Yes, it was. You're mixing me up. I know there was.
Christine, I said some crimes are simple. They are after they've happened. Because a guilty conscience does terrible, horrible things. Like stumbling over something that isn't even there, except a memory. Well, what was there when you made your old aunt fall? A rake? A string? A wire?
No, I didn't do it. I didn't.
Then come on, walk. Perfect accident. Ha! Not so perfect a few months after, is it? When you get so scared, you get sick, so guilty, you even try to kill someone else. Nervous little old Miss Dowdy because she's begun to be suspicious.
I didn't push that shutter.
Sure, go on, say it. Fill me in. But I know it was you, all right, sister. You were the only one who thought Miss Dowdy was out walking with me. Nobody would have tried to kill Brooksy, but just by accident, Brooksy had told you that Dowdy and I were walking together.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Listen. I never believed it. They all did, but I never believed it. Crying.
What? I don't hear anything.
Yes, you can. Whimpering, a woman crying. If it's not a real person, one of those others. It has to be the ghost. The ghost of the house. Here. There.
Yeah. Yeah, you do hear something, don't you, Christine? You're the only one who does. The unbeliever. And yet the only one who's heard anything all evening. Or ever. But hasn't it occurred to you? There never was a ghost in this house until you made one. The ghost of Ireland Betty.
You know, there's something about crisp, tangy autumn weather that makes coffee time more enjoyable than ever. And what better time than now to discover Preem? P-R-E-A-M, the delicious new way to cream coffee. In instant powdered form, Preem is made from fresh, sweet cream milk products and nothing else. Naturally, it has a rich, delicious flavor. What's more, Preem is so convenient, so economical, you'll prefer it to all other products for creaming your coffee. You see, Preem never sours, never turns. Sealed, Preem keeps indefinitely. Open for regular use, Preem stays fresh tasting to the last spoonful on your kitchen shelf or in your refrigerator. Budget-wise, Preem saves more than 1/3 the cost of coffee cream. And then, something every calorie counter should know. When you use Preem in your coffee, every cup contains only about half as many calories as if you used coffee cream. So try Preem in your coffee. P-R-E-A-M. The new way to cream it is to Preem it.
Well, Brooksy, that's what's known as getting a confession the hard way.
Oh, the poor girl's an absolute wreck.
Poor girl. She killed her aunt, didn't she?
Ireland Betty. Second cousin to a leprechaun.
Yeah.
There's the one I'd like to have known.
Yeah, the Irish. Believe in anything. Oh, Brooksy, there is one little item. You know, when I told you to go back in the house there, when I asked you to make some noises to help me get the story out of the girl?
What? Well, I never made any noises.
Huh?
Oh, well, I mean, first there was the police on the phone, and then Mr. Eustace kept following me around. I mean, you didn't think I did you? You didn't hear anything, did you? Of whimpering or crying?
No, Angel. No, of course not. No, I didn't hear anything. It was just in the girl's imagination, that's all.
Tonight's adventure of George Valentine has been brought to you transcribed by Preem, the new dairy miracle in instant powdered form. Try it. You'll prefer it to all other products for creaming your coffee. For Preem is the most delicious, convenient, thrifty way to cream your coffee ever discovered. Yes, the new way to cream it is to Preem it. Let George Do It stars Olin Soleil as George, and tonight Lillian Bayef appeared as Brooksy. Let George Do It is written by David Victor and Jackson Gillis and directed by J.C. Lewis. Also heard in tonight's cast were Jean Bates as Christine, Florence Ravenel as Dowdy, Benny Rubin as Gifford, and Howard Culver as Eustace. The music was composed and presented by George Wright. Tonight's performance concludes this current series. We hope you have enjoyed it. Your announcer has been George Crowell.
Whispering Streets. And here is Betty Davis.
Hello. It's tough to be an unsuccessful author, especially an unsuccessful young author. When the story on which Con Webster had been working for months, a story that had been practically ordered from an outline, came back with the traditional rejection slip, Con touched bottom. The story had been written to buy a few pieces of furniture for an apartment. Con was walking down a dark street, mentally as well as actually, one evening, when he heard his name spoken by a familiar voice. He was under a lamppost. He glanced up, and his face brightened.
Professor Truman. Well, this is a surprise. What are you doing in town? I'm here to see a publisher, SHERLOCK. Publisher? Yeah. Of course, I've been giving him crime and applied psychology has caught the public interest, and I've been asked to write a book. Some people have all the luck. Well, the quality of your voice, Webster, it disturbed me. You were planning to be a professional writer when you graduated from college last June. You showed promise of being a very good one, too. Drayton, the head of the English department, used to speak very highly of your work. He showed me your graduation thesis. It was a superb bit of satire. Yeah, that thesis gave me big ideas. I was going to set the world on fire with my brilliant prose, but I got nowhere. Are you going to write a textbook, sir? No, not a textbook. The idiotic editor, the one with whom I've been talking all afternoon, wants me to treat the subject of crime and applied psychology in a popular and amusing fashion. But to my mind, there's nothing either popular or amusing about crime and applied psychology. Yeah, I see what you mean, sir. Now, take juvenile delinquents, for instance. They're neither popular nor amusing, but... Webster, I just had a bring down the wind. Walk back to my hotel with me. Johnny Barton here, and we'll have a cup of coffee. Over the coffee, I'll explain the ideas.
So the middle-aged man and the young one walked back to the hotel in which the professor was stopping. And when they were seated at a small table in the corner of the coffee shop, the professor asked a question, and Con answered it frankly.
Yes, sir. I am down on the mouth. Things have been going badly for me. I haven't sold a thing since I graduated from college. And my small backlog of money is over the road until it's not even a drop in a very large bucket. Is there a living in the case? Yes, sir. I'm desperately in love, but I can't finance a marriage unless I sell something darn fast. The girl's father's well-to-do, and he's trying to keep us apart. Well, sir, she's on my home. I'm losing unless I get some dough mighty quick. Yeah, this idea of mine, so you're baking, my boy? I'll put it on the line. How would you like to write my book? You write a book that you will sign? You be a ghostwriter? Yes. Of course, I realize it's honest to take credit for another man's work, but my back's against the wall. My back's against the wall, too. Ghostwriting is not dishonest, sir. It's done every day. Well, then, I'll amend my self-judgment and say that I realize it would be unfair to you. The book must necessarily carry my name, and you'll get no credit whatsoever. I won't tell the publisher, I won't even tell my wife that I've employed an outsider to do this job for me. I can only comfort you by saying that scientific books seldom have a big sale. I'm not afraid of being a ghost. Guess I'm too, conceited to relish the idea. But I'd rather be your ghost than a stranger. It doesn't have to be a very long book. I'll show you my correspondence with the publisher, and you can use your own judgment as far as wordage is concerned. I'll give you my notes, and pay for the typing, and the midnight oil you may be forced to burn. What would you want for ghostwriting the book, Webster? I mean, what monetary consideration? Heck, I wouldn't know what to ask. Let's say $500 for the actual job and a cut on the royalties. I'll give you $250 at once, and the other $250 when the completed manuscript is in my hands. $500. You certainly are saving my bacon, sir. Will you excuse me while I go phone my girl and tell her the good news?
In just a moment, Betty Davis will be back again. But first,
this might sound a little confusing at first, but if you've heard of the library having been woven well, you might credit the United States Officers' Wives Club, formerly at Wheelus Air Base, for inventing the idea. The women got interested in a school for some 300 homeless boys under the jurisdiction of the Libyan government. The school had native teachers, but had precious little in the way of essential educational aids. The fact they didn't have a library started the wheels of progress in motion. The Officers' Wives Club could easily have raised a fund for books, but members decided this wasn't the sensible thing to do under the circumstances. The boys were just learning to read and write, and it would take a while before they could use a library and realize its value. So instead of books, the club bought the school a loom and a supply of yarn. The plan called for the boys to learn how to weave baracon, the soft cloth used by native women to make dresses, and a popular fabric with Westerners who managed to visit Libya. Proceeds from initial sales of the material were invested in more yarn until a sizable stock existed. Then the school diverted the profits for books. Not only did the boys help earn their own library, but they also got vocational training in weaving. One of the wives of the club was asked how they happened to hit on this particular idea. She replied, "It just evolved." Elaborating a bit, she explained that the members of the club thought it was a good step toward getting Libya's future citizens to recognize the fact that Americans wished them well, and that they were willing to do what they could to help their immediate needs. Finally, she added, "We can do with more knowing in North Africa these days. Yes, these homeless boys of Libya can hold their heads up and be proud they had the chance to own their own library, and keep it going with a loom and a supply of yarn." These United States officers' wives gave us all a thought to remember. We are Americans. As we go, so goes America.
And now back to our story with Betty Davis.
Professor Fremont lost his guilt-feeling as he watched Conrad Webster's expression change from despair to incredulous delight. That very night he handed over his notes and Conrad went to work. A month later he presented the finished manuscript to the professor, who forwarded it post-haste to the publisher. He'd almost forgotten the incident until he received 10 complimentary copies when the book came off the press. He laid them on his desk, but 3 days later, as he sat at the luncheon table with his wife.
Oh, I'll get it, dear. I wish people would call either before or after meals. This is the Tremont residence. Yes, Professor Hoyt Tremont lives here. Where's the Hoyt Tremont? You want to set up an interview? Oh, I suppose about his experimental crime laboratory plans. Oh, the book. No, we didn't see the reviews on Sunday. We went for a long drive. The professor isn't very much interested in newspapers. Yes, I'll ask him. Hoyt, the man wants to interview you about that book. You know?
Why did you want to interview me about the book?
Well, I suppose he likes it. He says it got a marvelous review. I haven't read it myself, of course, but I shall. When may the reporter see you, dear?
This afternoon, I suppose. I'm not doing anything else.
Well, what time shall I say?
4 o'clock, if it's convenient.
The professor says 4 o'clock. Will that be convenient? Yes, I'll tell the professor. Goodbye. Hoyt, he said you were the first man to make science bearable and entertaining. He said your satirical sense of humor was superb. I didn't realize you were such a two-faced old thing, darling. You've always been so deadly serious with me. Sometimes it scares me.
Oh, I feel like a fool when I'm being interviewed. Like an impostor.
Mr. Jekyll and Dr. Tremont. I love you dearly, Hoyt. But I never thought you had a satirical sense of humor. Really, I didn't.
While Professor Tremont was being interviewed by the reporter, the lecture bureau called and asked him to sign a contract for a series of informal talks at women's clubs. The fee they offered was unbelievably large. But Hoyt hung up the receiver testily and turned back to the reporter.
They're all after you, huh? Ain't she, Leonard? I wouldn't know why. You've read your own book, haven't you? Or do you dictate by ear and in the dark? Well, naturally, I'm skimmed through it. That sly sense of humor. Well, you get some sort of an award for the job. I'll take bets on it. Now, how long did the writing of your book take you? A month. 1 month to produce a literary gem? That's utterly amazing. I'm confounded.
No, I didn't mean that I took... Now, listen here. I don't want any credit for this book. It's just one of those things. It grew out of a mutual need.
Well, I'm afraid you can't help taking credit, sir. Your difference is quite extraordinary, sir, if you don't mind my saying so. It's unique and refreshing. Now, tell me something about your life in the university, sir, about your classes.
I'd be glad to. That's my rule.
I believe I'll say that teaching's your vocation, Professor, but writing's your avocation.
Well, that's all right. And I wish you didn't have to interview me at all.
It's inevitable, Professor Tremont. Your modesty's only equaled by your sense of humor, sir, and that sense of humor is certainly plowed under. If I hadn't read your book, I wouldn't believe that you had one. I haven't seen you smile since I came into this room.
Professor Tremont hadn't a smile in him. His conscience was as painful as an ulcerated tooth. He was taking credit for something that was not the product of his brain. All he'd supplied, as far as the book was concerned, were his notes. His wife remarked on his silence that night at dinner. And the next night,
the pastor of our church wants you to speak to the men's club, Hoyt, about the book. I read it today, dear, while you were out. I couldn't put it down. It's fascinating. I didn't know you had it in your mind.
Oh, for heaven's sake, Martha, don't plague me about that horrible book.
Far from horrible. It has charm and suspense.
Oh, hush, Martha, for my sake.
It's all right for you to be humble, darling, but I think you're carrying it a bit too far. You snap at me. No. What will I tell the Reverend?
Tell him I can't talk to his men's club. I'm getting ready for the fall semester.
Oh, darling, what a fib. You're not getting ready at all. It isn't August yet, and college won't open till late in September. My modest Violet, I'll fib for you this time, but I won't promise to do it again.
Time went on. College opened, and in the classroom, Professor Tremont noticed a new respect in the eyes of his students as they brought him copies of the book to be autographed. At the faculty club, he was in for more than his share of envious kidding. A literary weekly published his picture on the story of his hitherto quiet life. A certain book guild made his slim volume the choice of the month. And as honor piled on honor, Professor Tremont could see with his mind's eye the face of the very young man who'd written the book. He told himself that he'd given Conrad Webster the entire royalty check, but that he knew was not enough. He grew silent and morose, and one morning, when his wife was opening the mail,
letters, darling, since your book came out. When are you going to write another one?
I'll never write another book as long as I live, so help me.
Well, at least there's a present to your voice building is 50, after all. I'm not your publisher, I'm your wife. Oh, my goodness. The Writers' League is giving a dinner for you. You're listed as guest of honor. They say your book is the most outstanding contribution to
When's the dinner?
Next Wednesday. But didn't you know anything about it in advance?
Oh, I had some sort of a phone call, but I was preoccupied. So I said yes, as usual. I didn't realize what I was getting in for. I will go to the dinner, Martha.
You must be.
I won't go. Now, this me into my tether. The deuce with the book.
Holy. Sweetheart.
You wouldn't sweetheart me if you knew the truth. Interviews, autographs, stories in magazines, newspapers, reprints, lectures, dinners. I'm fed to the teeth. I can't take any more. I'm at the end of my tether, I tell you.
I can understand your attitude. I should think you'd be as proud as punch to have written a bestseller.
I didn't write it.
Darling, do you feel quite well? Your eyes have a queer glazed look.
The deuce with my eyes having a glazed look. This is the first moment of mental letdown I've had since that book came off the press. Telling the truth is always a release. I not only didn't write it, I didn't even read it.
In just a moment, Betty Davis will be back.
We often read that a candidate for the presidency of the United States is stumping the nation during his campaigning. But do you know how the expression originated? Actually, it was born during the early days of the West, when candidates for public office went out looking for votes. In order to be seen and heard by the crowds of people who gathered, the candidate was forced to stand on some kind of platform. And what was handier in the backwoods areas than the stump of a fallen tree? From this early open-air type of campaigning, stumping has come to mean any kind of campaigning where a candidate travels around the country to meet the people face to face. Through this method of campaigning, another page was added to your political history.
And now back to our story with Betty Davis.
Hoyt Tremont's wife was staring at him. Her face had gone suddenly pale. Obviously, she thought that she was in the presence of a madman, and the madman was her own husband. She moistened her lips and spoke in an odd, shaky voice.
My dear, you aren't making sense.
I am making sense. As I told you, I'm completely sane for the first time in months. Martha, I didn't write that book.
But if you didn't write it, who did?
I employed a ghostwriter.
A ghostwriter?
You heard me, Martha. Don't be so dense. The man who wrote the book was a young fellow who graduated from college in June. His name is Conrad Webster.
I remember Conrad speaking to the tea we gave for the senior class.
That's right.
He looked so eager. Was it God? He talked about writing a bestseller one day.
Well, don't tell me what he looked like. I know how he looks. I see his face in front of me constantly. And don't tell me what he said of that blasted tea. His voice is ringing in my ears every hour of the day and night. It haunts me. He's written his bestseller, and it bears my signature. He's a ghostwriter. Believe me, he's like Banquo's ghost.
You mean Macbeth?
Naturally. Did you ever hear of any other Banquo?
Darling. Oh, darling, I'm so very sorry. I didn't dream for one moment that you was...
A cheat? Well, you're not alone. Nobody did. Nobody does. That's why I'm being haunted. I'll get huge royalty checks. I'll endorse them and turn them over to young Webster. But giving him money isn't enough. What is it? Well, what shall I do, Martha? What in heaven's name shall I do?
There's only one thing that you can do. If you want to regain your peace of mind. Oh, stop wringing your hands, Hoyt. It's as if you're washing them without soap or water, like Gunga Den.
The day at the dinner, Professor Tremont called the young reporter who had been the first to interview him and asked him to come to the party if he wanted a beat. The reporter did want a beat, and so he met Professor Tremont in the lobby of the hotel where the dinner was being given. Professor Tremont introduced him to a tall young man in an obviously new tuxedo. The reporter sat at the table directly in front of the speaker's table. The young man seated himself nervously at the professor's right. And when the dinner was over and the toastmaster had introduced the guest of honor, Professor Tremont rose calmly in his place.
Now, please, not quite so much applause yet. I'll ask for it later. You're honoring me tonight for a fine book.
I'll say it's a fine book, and thank heaven your modesty's slipping.
Now, please, not just yet. I've only started. I can say that the book is a fine book with no sense of conceit, or I didn't write it. No, the book was written from my notes by a ghost who I'm happy to say is very much alive. He's seated here beside me. I give you Conrad Webster, the real author of a real bestseller. He's the one who deserves your applause, not I. Well, I've had my say. It's your turn, Con Webster. Take it from here. But you heard me, son. Now take it from here. Well, I don't know what to say except that Professor Tremont let me do the job of ghosting so that I could earn enough money to get married. And my wife is sitting with the professor's wife down front. She's the girl in pink beside the woman in gray. They're both crying. And if I were a woman, I'd be crying too. I don't know what else to say except that Professor Hoyt Tremont is a wonderful man. And without his incredible notes, there wouldn't have been a book. And this is a very great occasion. It came as an utter surprise. I can't say anything more.
Well, I can. The story will be in my paper tomorrow morning, and you're a grand guy, Professor. You're top.
The devil gets too much encouragement from liars. A man like Professor Hoyt Tremont sets him back quite a bit. Art Franklin, the reporter who interviewed Professor Tremont, was something of a student of human nature, and his judgment about people was almost 100% perfect. But once he slipped up.
tell you more about Art Franklin.
No person in the world is entirely foolproof, and that was true of Art Franklin, the reporter. His one mistake in judgment very nearly cost him much more than his job. Until then, this is Betty Davis saying goodbye from the Whispering Street.
Today's program was written by Margaret E. Sangster. Featured in the cast were Peggy Weber, Ralph Moody, Jack Moyles, and Frank Driscoll. Whispering Street was directed by Gordon T. Hughes and produced by Ted Lloyd. Your announcer is George Walsh.
Has come to you through the worldwide facilities of the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.
Detective, starring the world's greatest living magician, Blackstone. He tells you the inside story of The Ghost in the Crypt. And right after the story, Blackstone will explain tricks that you yourself can perform. Reveal the guarded secrets of the world's greatest living magician. Stand by for Blackstone, the Magic Detective.
Hey, what's going on here? What's all the dark for?
Hush,
Alan. Hush?
Uh-huh. We're waiting for a ghost.
A ghost?
A ghost.
What on earth are you talking about?
We're waiting for a ghost. He's coming to visit us.
Well, let's turn on the lights then. We'll be able to see him. Oh, he'll make himself seen, light or no light. Have you ever seen him?
I haven't.
No?
No, but Blackstone has. Oh, darn it.
I'll take it. Turn the lights on, Rhoda.
Right.
Blackstone speaking. Yes? Oh, I see. Yes, I'll go right on out there. All right, I'll report back to you. Goodbye. Well, I'm afraid we're going to have to postpone our little meeting with my ghost, Rhoda.
Huh?
We're going out to meet some real ones.
Well, what do you mean?
I was talking to a friend of mine this morning at Dwight Malkin.
Oh, I remember him. Didn't his uncle leave him a fortune in uncut jewels?
That's right, but he hid them somewhere around the old mansion, the one he left to his widow. The nephew was supposed to have to find them.
Did he find them?
No, he didn't. He thinks they're hidden in the cellar of the old house.
Well, why didn't he go and look for them there?
The old lady won't let him in.
You should send somebody else then.
He can't. The old house is supposed to be haunted and no one dares go in at night.
Well, what are you supposed to do?
Dwight Malkin says he's just come from the house and that there are all sorts of flickering blue lights and banging shutters and queer noises out there. He wants me to find out about it and get into the cellar if I can.
Well, what are we waiting for?
Nothing. You want to come too, Alan?
Me? Sure, I'd like to.
Rhoda, here, wear this cape over your dress. It may be chilly out there by the old house. Come on.
Well, ma'am, we sure got rid of your snooping nephew quick tonight.
That's right. He can't come in here. The ghost will scare him away.
Do you think, ma'am, that he knows we found the jewels?
No, and he never will.
Those jewels should have been mine. Ned promised them to me. And then he left them to that nephew of his. But he'll never get them while I'm alive.
Listen. It's a car. It's stopping here. Somebody's getting out of it. They ain't scared. Look out the window.
Let me see. The fool. Isn't he afraid of ghosts?
Who is it, ma'am? Anyone you know?
It's Blackstone, that magician.
What's he doing here?
I'm going down to the cellar. You stay here.
What'll I do?
Let him go wherever he wants to. Don't you bother him.
But if he goes to the cellar?
I'll watch him from there. You come down in 10 minutes, and that will be the end of Blackstone.
You're not afraid of ghosts, are you, Alan?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, not me.
Good. I guess I'm not then.
Look, Rhoda. Blackstone said we should follow him if he wasn't out in 10 minutes.
I know. It's 10 minutes now. Well, come on.
Well, don't you want me to sort of stay here and wait for you? You could call me if you needed help or anything.
No, sir. I won't go in there alone. Oh, not that I'm afraid of anything, but... Say, you are scared.
Me? Oh, no. Come on.
Why are you hanging back?
Oh, you know, ladies first and all that sort of thing. Or is it all that sort of rot?
There's nothing to be afraid of. Nothing. Blackstone says that if I hear a ghost, all I have to do is to turn around and walk backwards. That's all there is to it. I'm not afraid.
Well, what are your teeth chattering for, then?
Those are your teeth, Alan Kent, and you know it.
Yes, they are.
Well, here we are. Open the door, why don't you?
I am. Don't rush me.
You don't hear anything, do you, Alan?
Well, sort of creaking.
It's a shutter. It isn't a ghost. There's no such thing as ghosts. No such thing as ghosts.
You said that.
Oh, I wish it weren't so dark.
Rhoda.
Yes, Alan?
There's nothing in it, and those noises aren't ghosts. Don't you think maybe you ought to walk backwards?
No, I guess it wouldn't do any harm, since you're afraid. There. 5 steps backwards, Blackstone said. Oh, what's that?
The ghost! The ghost of Ned Malcolm!
Oh, something went through that window.
Not something. Somebody.
We'd better get down to Blackstone in the cellar.
Yes, here's the door right where he said it would be. Come on.
You bet. I don't like it here alone.
Well, you're not alone. I'm here.
That's what I said, alone.
Stop that, Mr. Blackstone. Stop that digging.
Who are you?
I'm Mrs. Malcolm. Thank you for digging up my jewels, Mr. Blackstone.
Your nephew's jewels, you mean?
No, mine. And now, Mr. Blackstone, I'm very much afraid that I shall have to ask Jake to shoot you. I've got a gun, so don't you try to move.
Well, if you have a gun, why don't you shoot me yourself?
No, I'd rather Jake would do it. I really don't like shooting people at all. It's too messy. Listen, that's Jake coming now. I told him to be here in 10 minutes, and Jake always obeys me. Here he is now.
Blackstone!
Turn around, Rhoda, turn around.
Do you hear a ghost?
Turn around.
Oh, okay.
No, it's Ned. It's Ned. Oh, don't hurt me. I promised Dwight can have the jewels. I promised.
Blackstone, why did I scare everybody into fits every time I turned around?
Look, let's not even talk about it anymore. I don't want to know what was going on. I just want to forget if I can. Well, turn off the light, Rhoda. Not that. Anything but that.
Oh, stop being so silly, Alan. There's nothing to be afraid of.
When you turn those lights on again, I'll be dead. And then you'll all be sorry.
Oh!
What? She's screaming at. I've got my eyes shut, and I'd rather not open them. Well, then open them and look over there, Alice.
It's a face. A glowing, silvery face of an old man.
Now, I know I'm going to die. That's why you scared everyone so. That's the face of Ned Malcolm. Now I know I've lost my mind through sheer unadulterated terror. That face is painted on the back of your cape, Rhoda. Painted on with phosphorus.
Oh, and so another mystery was solved by magic. Alan,
Do you think it'd take your mind off things if Blackstone showed us a trick? I'll turn on the lights.
All right. Well, how about a bit of hypnotism, Alan?
Who's to be the victim?
You are. Now, look. First, I close my fists. Then I set one on top of the other in front of my chest.
Right.
Now, grab my wrists and look straight in my eyes.
All right. What do I do now?
Try to draw my fists apart, sideways.
That's a cinch.
It isn't as easy as you think, Alan.
It isn't?
Mm-mm.
Just watch. Hey, I can't budge him.
You're hypnotized.
Oh, I am, huh? I get it. You were just strong enough to keep your fists together. Now, if I tried that with Rhoda...
Go right ahead, Alan. Here, I'll plant one fist on the other. Now, grab my wrist.
All right. I'm gripping them.
Huh?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. You're hypnotized already, Alan.
Oh, no, and I'm going to look right into Rhoda's eyes, because that is a cinch. And I'm not hypnotized. Watch. Here they go.
Only they don't go, Alan.
Hey, wait a minute. What is this? Wait, I'll try again. Hey, maybe I am hypnotized.
Then you give up?
Certainly do. You win, Rhoda. Just as Blackstone did. Only if this is a trick.
It is a trick, Alan. And as soon as you've snapped out of your trance, we'll explain it to you. Have you figured it out?
No, Blackstone, I haven't. Tell me, if you will, please, why couldn't I draw your fists apart when you held one on the other?
You were drawing sideways, weren't you, Alan?
Yes, of course, with my hands gripping your wrists.
Well, it was really the difference between push and pull. I was pushing one fist hard upon the other.
And there's more power to a push than to a pull.
That's right. In pulling sideways, you were diverting your strength. You'd have to be a lot stronger than I am to draw my fists apart, Alan.
But I certainly am a lot stronger than Rhoda, yet I couldn't draw her fists apart.
Well, that's because Rhoda added a special trick that you didn't suspect.
That's right, Alan. You see, Blackstone told me how to work it.
Show Alan the system, Rhoda.
Well, I put my right fist on my left, and then I tell you to look into my eye.
Only this time, watch Rhoda's fist instead, and let him see what happens, Rhoda.
Look, Alan. I simply loosen my right fist and lift my left thumb...
into your right fist.
Exactly, that's it. Then I grab that thumb good and tight. Well, just try to draw my fist apart now.
I wouldn't have a chance.
Well, for once, you're right, Alan. And that's the trick of making your fists stick together, one on top of the other, no matter how hard anyone tries to draw them apart. I hope you like that trick, ladies and gentlemen. And until next time... this is Blackstone saying good magic and goodbye.
Be with us next time when the world's greatest living magician, Blackstone, tells us the story of the accusing corpse. It explains more tricks that you yourself can perform. Listen in again to Blackstone, the world's greatest living magician.
Front Page Dramas present The Ghost Knocks. This week's Front Page drama, The Ghost Knocks, is based upon a true life story of the supernatural entitled Laurel's Poltergeist. One of the many very interesting and unusual features to be found in next Sunday's American Weekly. the magazine with the greatest circulation in the world, which comes to you with your Hearst Sunday newspaper. This is the story of a poltergeist, described by some as a practical joking ghost. A ghost that can be heard and felt, but never seen. Science is inclined to take poltergeist manifestations more seriously than the usual type of ghost. Not that they think the manifestations are supernatural, but merely the working of an undiscovered natural force. One night early last summer, the Williams family were all fast asleep when suddenly...
Jim, wake up.
I'm awake.
Jim, did you hear that?
Sure, I heard. What do you suppose is banging on the door at this hour of the morning?
How in the world would I know? Go down and see.
Mom, there's somebody knocking at the door.
There. Now it's awakened Jimmy. Go down and see who it is, Jim.
All right, I'm going as soon as I can put on my robe and slippers. Hey, Bob! You hear that? There's somebody at our door. I know. I'm going to see who it is. You go on back to sleep. No wonder whoever it is would give me a chance to get up instead of trying to knock the house down. There's nobody here. Must have gone up or down the street. I don't see anybody. Maybe they went around the back. I'll see.
Who was it, Jim?
I don't know. There wasn't anybody at the front door out in the street. Guess they must be around the back door. I'm going to see it right now. Nobody here. That's funny. Guess I'll take a walk around the house and see what's going on here. One heck of an hour in the morning for anyone to be playing jokes.
Now, don't be silly, Jim. There must have been someone. I heard it, you heard it, and little Jimmy heard it.
Yeah.
3 people heard 3 distinct knocks 3 separate times.
Okay, but I walked all around the house twice, looked up and down the street and over the fences, and I didn't see a soul. I looked in the cellar and in all the rooms. There wasn't anybody. It wasn't anything. So go on back to sleep.
Well, all I can say is it's darn funny. Something or someone made those knocks. We couldn't all be hearing things.
Oh, forget it. Let's get some sleep. I've got a hard day ahead of me tomorrow.
Williams, will you get out of the kitchen and let me finish getting dinner without you getting under my feet?
Oh, gee, Mom, I'm hungry. Couldn't I have just one coconut cookie?
No, you'll spoil your dinner. Jimmy, run and see who is that at the door.
I wasn't at the door, Mom. It was right in the wall over there.
Nonsense, it was.
See? It goes again.
Why, yes. You're right, son. It sounded like it came through the wall from the dining room. Wait. Yes, it comes from the dining room through the wall behind you. I'll see. Come along, son.
Who was it, Mom?
Well, bless my soul. That isn't the strangest thing. There's nobody here. No one in the living room or at the front door.
Gosh, Mom, it must be someone. I heard it.
That's just the way it happened a few nights ago. 3 distinct knocks. 3 separate times.
Oh, yeah, and we thought there was someone at the door.
There must be something in these walls. I'll speak to your father about it when he comes home this evening. Jimmy Williams, are you sure it wasn't you playing tricks on me so that you could sneak in the kitchen and snitch a cookie while my back was turned?
Oh, gosh, no, Mom. How could it have been me? I was standing right by you in the middle of the kitchen floor. I was 6 feet away from the wall.
Oh, all right. It's darn funny just the same. Well, I'll speak to your father about it. Funniest thing, I can't get it out of my mind.
Now, look here. It's just like I told you. This is a fairly new house, and Jim Price says you're bound to hear strange noises caused when a house begins to settle. This warm, dry spell we've been having is what does it.
I'd be willing to believe it if I wasn't for the fact that the knocking is so regular. Exactly the same sound each time, and there was 3 regular spaced knocks. Hardly seems to
now,
me
listen,
that...
Bess, for crying out loud, forget it. I'm trying to read my paper. How can a man figure out baseball percentages with you jabbering away in his ear?
All right, I won't say another word about it. Now there, Jim Williams, did you hear that?
Yes, I heard it. So what? It's just like I said.
That sounds is that it might be coming from the wall in Jimmy's room.
Yeah, that's just what I thought. Come on, Beth. I'm going to get to the bottom of this. Jimmy's got a hand in there somewhere.
Now, don't accuse him until you're sure. I made the same mistake myself.
Oh, so you're awake. Did you make that noise?
Oh, gosh, no, Pa. It woke me up. You know, it seemed to come right out of the wall there behind my bed.
There, Jim. You see? What did I tell you?
Okay, but I'm not convinced. I've got an idea our son and heir is rigging up this little job. Some new gag of his, like the old tic-tac we used to use on Halloween.
Oh, gosh, Pop, you don't think I'm doing it, do you?
I'm not taking any chances. Come on, get out of that bed.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to move this bed out to the center of the room. I'm going to examine it and put him back in there and then sit here and watch him. And I'll bet $1 to a donut it won't happen again.
Oh, but
Come on, give me a hand here now.
Well,
Keep quiet.
I didn't do it.
Keep quiet, will you? Okay, Mr. Magician. Now hop right back in bed.
All right.
That's it. Now sit down, Best, and watch. Hey, you, Jimmy. Keep both hands out. Above the covers. That's it.
Okay. Well, it isn't me, Pop. I swear it isn't.
Yeah, and I'll swear it isn't, too. Now, just keep quiet.
There, Mr. Jim Williams. Now, what do you say?
Well, let's see if we can do it again.
I ain't doing nothing, Dad.
All right, Mr. Wise Guy. Explain that.
Now, you're satisfied it's not me?
Yeah, all right. Go on back to sleep. Come on, Bess.
Fine chance for a guy to sleep with somebody playing knock-knock in his bedroom.
Well, Pa Williams was puzzled, to say the least. But next morning he had a building inspector come in and thoroughly examine the walls and building. But nothing to explain the strange knocks could be discovered. Then they changed Jimmy's bedroom, but no matter what room they put him in, the weird knocking continued. So they decided to send him off on a visit upstate to stay with some relatives. But 3 days later he was home again, for the knocks had gone with him and kept the relatives sleepless at night. The fame of the Williams' strange predicament spread, and soon a noted university professor of psychic research called.
Yes, sir, Dr. Berkeley. We even had the chief of police and a squad of men surround the house all one night. But the knocking went right on. It's just about got us crazy.
This, without the slightest doubt, is the manifestation of a poltergeist.
Oh, what, sir?
A poltergeist, Mrs. Williams. An invisible ghost, as it were. One that, instead of visiting and making itself visible, is the kind that never appears, but makes itself manifest by sound, such as knocks, clangings, and sometimes, though quite rarely, with vocal or animal sounds.
And have you had any experience with these, what you call them?
Oh, yes, on 3 occasions. And invariably, these poltergeist manifestations are connected with young people, usually girls. There was one in England, one in Virginia, and one in far-off Romania. These manifestations, though, were of the violent kind, in which things were thrown around.
Well, I'm glad ours isn't that kind.
Well, what I want to know is how can we stop this thing? Don't tell me we have to live with this knocking for the rest of our lives.
Oh, no, Mr. Williams. It's rarely, if ever, that a poltergeist associates with anyone over 16.
Good heavens, Jimmy won't be 16 until next May.
Say, do you mean we have to put up with this thing for another 10 months?
No, Mr. Williams, don't be alarmed. We must try an experiment.
Listen, Professor, I'll try anything to restore this house to normal. You just tell us what you want us to do.
You, Mr. Williams, can do nothing. Huh? It's up to your son, Jimmy.
Oh, well, he'll do anything you want him to, Doctor.
I see. Well, this may be an uneasy spirit, one that has something which it must reveal before it can rest. Now, if the poltergeist makes a manifestation tonight, Jimmy must quietly and solicitously ask what the spirit wants. It will undoubtedly manifest its trouble and then leave forever.
Okay, Doctor. If that's all there is to the experiment, we'll try it tonight. I'll have a talk with Jimmy.
Now, you understand, Jimmy. If the knock comes tonight...
And it will.
Now, that's no way to cooperate. Listen to what we're telling you.
Okay.
When the knock comes, the professor wants you to be very kind and gentle and solicitous.
Yes.
Say in a very nice voice, please tell me what you want. Like that.
Oh, Demon, that's a lot of hooey.
Now, listen here. You might enjoy having this poltergeist, Mr. Williams. Okay, if you like having it around, but we don't. So if you want to continue as a member of this family, get rid of this thing by doing as you're told.
Okay.
We'll all be in the next room if anything happens. Now go to sleep and good night, Jimmy.
Good night. Good night.
Good night, sister. Well, here we go. Please tell me what you want. What is it you want?
Oh, what the heck do you want?
Jimmy, what did you talk like that for?
What do you want to do? Get the ghost mad at us so it'll start throwing things?
No.
Quiet, please. Please, don't lose your tempers. Evidently, I was wrong. It was not an uneasy spirit seeking to unburden itself of some secret.
Well, Professor, what next?
Well, it may be that in this case we're dealing with a female poltergeist.
What?
The one who feels tenderness for your son.
Oh, my goodness, Professor, you don't know.
Now, wait a minute. This occurs
it
me.
is.
You mean, Prop, that this girl goes for me? She's sweet on me?
Something like that, son, yes. Although I would express the thought.
To heck with the thought. She can't do this to me. Say, what in heck do you suppose would happen to me in school if this ever got out?
Why...
Me, Jim Williams, first baseman on the ball team, fullback on the football squad who has no time for girls, has a ghost sweet on him. Oh, my gosh, this is terrible. If the guys at school ever got wind of this, I'd be ruined.
No, young man. Please, be calm.
Yes.
Well, we must experiment.
Be calm, my eye. Say, listen, I'm going to experiment. Wait till that thing starts knocking again. I'll knock back.
Now, son.
I'll show you an experiment that is an experiment. I'll knock it right out of this world.
With fear and trembling, Mr. and Mrs. Williams waited, wondering whether their outraged young son would knock the house down, replying to the ghostly knocks. But they waited in vain. Evidently, Jimmy's outraged spirit struck a discordant note with the poltergeist girl spirit. Anyhow, the knockings have stopped for the time being, and the Williams hope permanently. You have just heard the front-page drama, The Ghost Knocks, based upon a true-life story of the supernatural entitled Laurel's Poltergeist. One of the many interesting features to be found in next Sunday's American Weekly, the magazine with the greatest circulation in the world that comes to you with your Hearst Sunday newspaper.
Inviting you in through the squeaking door. Come on in. Come in. Join our happy little community. And if you're not very careful, maybe you can stay. It's happened to some of our nicest people, and believe me, they've never regretted it. As they always say, it's a place to rest your bones. Remember, ours is the only community that has no taxes, no housing problem, no inflation, and no politicians. Of course, it might seem a little dead to you, but that's the idea, isn't it? Suppose we get down to brass tacks. And I do mean the ones that go around the edge of a coffin. Huh? Well, don't sneer. I've heard better jokes myself. But remember, he who laughs last laughs best. And, brother, when we in the inner sanctum laugh, we're laughing last. Meet Laura, a nice girl in her 30s who had an uncle and worried about it.
It was a pleasant life at Green Tower. It was pleasant being mistress of the huge, time-worn house and the fertile acres that surrounded it, and the money that came in regularly. Always. It was pleasant being married to Tony, who was very handsome and very gay, and who, they said, had married me for my money. Well, perhaps he had, but he was fond of me anyway. I'm sure he was, even though he was younger than I. But only a very little younger. It was a pleasant life. Until Uncle Edward came home. Tony had gone out to the village, I think, to pick up something or other. I was alone. Tony, the door's open, darling. You know I never lock it. Did you have a nice time buying things, Tony?
Who, my dear Laura? It's Tony.
Oh, Uncle Edward.
Yes, but I haven't returned from the grave, my sweet.
I didn't think you had. Hello, Uncle.
That welcome could very easily be warmer and still not be overwhelming. I've been away a long time. And for a change, Green Tower seems attractive.
Does it?
Which is rather a pity.
What do you mean?
Selling it.
You're not going to sell Green Tower?
Oh, yes. Yes, I need the money.
Uncle, you can't sell Green Tower.
Well, it's mine. Of course I can sell it.
But...
And who is this Tony?
Tony is my husband.
Oh, really? Well, my congratulations. And I take it he thinks you own Green Tower.
Yes.
And thinks you have money as well.
Yes. Uncle, I
thought I saw someone in the garden.
Uncle, please.
Be still. It's so infernally dark out there, I can't see. It might be some burglar fellow.
He was standing with his back to the room, peering out into the garden. Uncle Edward, who had been away a long time and who had come back at last to shadow my life. He was not a very big man, my uncle. And when I came close to him, I realized that he was barely as tall as I. Uncle.
I can't make out a thing. After shadows.
He was looking out into the garden for an imaginary burglar, while I stood behind him with the old French paper knife my mother had left me. I tried again. Uncle, please.
Now, it's no use, my dear. No use. Go away and stop bothering me.
He didn't even turn around when he said that to me, which made it quite easy when I saw the knife went in smoothly. It kept on going into his back until I thought it would never stop. But the handle balked. Uncle Edward's body stiffened for a moment and leaned back intolerably against the knife. He groaned, and he fell. After a moment, I bent over him. He was very silent. As silent as the dark garden. As silent as death. My uncle had come home more than he knew. He wasn't very heavy. And he didn't bleed at all, which was nice. As I dragged him through the French doors into the softness and darkness of the garden. I hurried, because Tony would be coming home. The ground would be softest, I knew, under the rosebuds that I left so. It was there that I dug a grave for Uncle. And it was there that I buried him. Under the lovely roses that would bloom again and again, not knowing or caring who lay beneath them. There was the sound of our car pulling up at the front door, but I was finished. Uncle was under the roses, with a paper knife still in his back. And I was in the drawing room, at the piano, when my darling came in.
Oh, my love?
Oh, Tony, my dear.
Anything exciting happened while I was away?
No, Tony. No. Nothing ever happens here. Nothing. Oh, it's pleasant having breakfast in the garden, isn't it, Tony?
Mm-hmm. Except for, look.
Oh, dear. Just so.
Mm-hmm. Or windbag.
Well, he's a very nice old gentleman, but he does talk a lot, and...
Good morning! My, what a lovely sight you two make. Charming.
Thank you, Mr. Stokes.
Well, Laura, your roses are almost as lovely as you are.
They're much lovelier, you know that.
And where is your Uncle Edward this fine morning?
My Uncle Edward?
Oh, Laura, you upset your coffee.
Oh, yes, I did, didn't I? That was very careless of me. Well, Mr. Stokes, I suppose Uncle Edward is still abroad.
Oh, my dear, I saw him last night here.
Here?
Well, on his way here, at any rate. I was driving. It was quite late. I saw him coming down the road.
Oh, it wasn't Uncle Edward.
No? No, well, that's funny. Well, I thought I could have recognized him anywhere.
It wasn't Uncle Edward.
Well, yes, of course. You know better than I, of course. Well, I must be getting old, eh? Well, that reminds me. Mrs. Stokes will have my head if I don't hurry back home. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Who's Uncle Edward, Lord?
My uncle.
I could have guessed that.
Oh, yes, of course. I mean, my mother's brother.
A poor relative?
Why do you ask that?
Well, you seemed so upset when Stokes mentioned his name.
Oh, well, he is a bit. He's sponges.
I wouldn't have liked him.
No, I don't think you would. So, isn't it lucky it wasn't Uncle Edward? That you, Tony?
Yeah, I'm going down the road to the Carters. You want to come along?
No, dear. I better go through this mail.
Good old mail. Lots of checks coming in, huh?
Lots of them, darling.
Hey, Laura.
Yes?
Well, why aren't you using your paper now?
My paper? Oh, it needed cleaning, and I sent it away to have it cleaned.
Oh, it's a pretty thing. Glad you haven't lost it. But I thought I noticed it around last night.
No, I sent it away a few days ago. When I went into town.
Well, I'll see you later. Bye.
Bye. Until later. And please, Tony, please forget about my paper knife. Please, Tony, forget about it. Oh, hello.
Hello. You're the niece, huh?
The niece?
Mind if I come in?
Well, no, not at all.
Very nice. Very nice.
We like it.
Bet you do. Now, where's Ed Cheney?
Ed Cheney?
You can tell him his old pal Trail is here and waiting.
Oh, I'm afraid you've made a mistake.
What kind of mistake?
There's no Mr. Cheney here.
Look here, my girl. This is Green Towers, isn't it?
Yes?
You're Laura?
Yes?
And tell your Uncle Ed I'm here and waiting.
Well, he isn't here.
He got here sometime yesterday. Asked me to come in today. But I'm here.
I'm terribly sorry, but he's away. He's abroad. He is not here.
Oh. I'll give you some money.
Oh, he does.
Yes, 5,000.
I see.
I don't care what I say or not. What I care about is the money.
But
I'll wait for him.
Well, you
told me he was coming here yesterday. Today hasn't come. Oh, I can't wait.
Oh, well, it might be very awkward. Suppose...
Yeah?
Suppose I gave you the money.
Yeah, that's all right.
Then you would go away? You wouldn't wait for Uncle Edward?
I'd go away.
All right, I think I may have it here. I always keep quite a bit of cash around. Expenses, you know. Yes, I do have it. And here you are, Mr. Trail.
Thanks.
Well, you didn't count the money.
I trust you.
Thank you.
You know, I like this part of the country.
Do you?
Yeah. And I just changed my mind.
What about?
Going away. I'm getting on in years. Maybe I'll spend the rest of them here.
You said you'd go away.
I did, didn't I? That was before you gave me the money.
Well, you can't be very long on that.
There'll be more, won't there, Laura? Well, I'd better be running along. Find myself a nice place to live near the village.
But,
You
Mr.
see, our
Taylor...
neighbor, Uncle Edward, did come here last night. And he didn't throw me any money. I was trying to get a job from him. Oh, but this way is even better. Au revoir.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Well, gents, getting late. I'll be gone. My new little gray home in the west, That'd be nice. Old man Trail will be back, Joe. Buy all the drinks you can stand. Hey. I didn't see you. You're dark. What you want? I said, what you... Don't you stand there looking at that knife. Put it in there. No, Joe. I can't.
Well, you're all here waiting, eh? What's the matter? You brave or something? Oh, you are. Then suppose you crawl out from under that sofa and listen to the tale of Laura, who planted her Uncle Edward under the rose bushes in the garden with her favorite paper knife in his back. A Mr. Thrale tried to blackmail her, but one dark night, Mr. Thrale lost interest in worldly matters, lying down in the street with a knife in his heart. The next morning at Green Towers.
Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, darling. Got a breakfast already?
Too hungry to wait. Pull up a chair and go to work.
All right, I will.
What's the matter, Laura? You're a bit pale.
I'm all right. Tony, who put those roses on the table?
I did. They're blooming. I know how you love them.
Oh, thank you, darling.
Say, terrible thing in the papers this morning.
Oh? What?
Man stabbed to death in the village.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Stranger hereabouts. He was at the village bar, throwing a lot of money around. Walked out. Somebody evidently wanted the rest of his money, so he got a knife stuck into him.
Oh, how dreadful. What was his name, Tony?
That was a funny name. Hard to remember. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Thrale. Yeah, that's what it was. Laura, what's wrong?
Oh, no, nothing. I do think, though, that those roses have given me a headache. Their odor's so strong.
Oh, that's a shame. But I'll get rid of it.
Oh, will you? Thank you. I'll go and lie down for a while. Maybe my head will feel better.
Yeah, you do that.
Yes, I may even be able to sleep again.
Laura,
Yes, sir.
stop wandering about the room.
Oh, I'm just a bit restless.
Got your paper knife back from the cleaners yet?
Paper? Oh, no, not yet.
It's taken an awful long time, isn't it? Hope they haven't lost it.
I hope not. Tony,
What?
there are no roses in this room, are there?
No.
Well, then why is the odor of roses so strong?
Laura, I'm worried.
Why?
Because there is no odor of roses in this room.
Good night, Tony, darling.
Laura, are you sure you don't want me to stay with you tonight?
No. Run along your own bedroom.
You're not looking well.
I'll be all right.
Well, Yell if you want me. Good night.
Good night, Tony. Good night. I'll be all right if only the roses will go away. The heavy, sweet odor of roses always in my nostrils. The deadly, decaying odor of roses. Nobody in the garden. Nobody at all. There's the plum tree, just as it always is. And the vegetable patch. And the lawn where we play croquet. And there are the rose bushes, too. The rose bushes. And out of the rose bushes, a man is standing up, and it's my uncle! No! No! Tony, what did that doctor say? The consultant, I mean.
I don't know. He's stopping by in a little while.
He seemed a very strange man.
Oh, psychiatrist. I
knew he was a psychiatrist, darling. Tony, do you think...
Of course not.
Because it's only that I smell roses when they're on.
You're not crazy, Lauren. For heaven's sake. That must be the doctor now. Now, you be a good girl. I'll see him, and I'll be back very soon. You try to sleep?
Yes, darling. But I couldn't sleep. The odor of roses was so terribly strong. I thought, perhaps if I got out of bed and maybe lay down on the floor where the fresh air from the air conditioning machine was stronger, perhaps there I'd be more comfortable. But... I thought it was funny as I crawled about a bit on the floor on my hands and knees until I found the place where the fresh air was supposed to come. Then I began to laugh. And I laughed. That night I waited till Tony slept. And I went downstairs into the cellar. And straight to the air conditioning machine which kept the house so fresh. And there, in front of the blower which drove the air through the pipes into my bedroom, I found a little bottle. It was a lovely little bottle with a crest on its little fat belly and the words, Attar of Roses on it. The bottle, you see, was open. And then I knew that I wasn't mad. And I also knew that the time had come for me to find my paper knife again. I'm awake, Tony.
Brought you your breakfast.
Thank you, darling. Put it down. I won't eat it just yet.
All right. Hey, you had a good night?
I had a wonderful night. Tony, I think I'm going to be well again.
Good.
Help me out of bed, darling, will you?
Sure, all right.
Just put your arms around me.
All right.
There, I'm up. Oh, don't be in such a hurry to take your arms away, darling. Hold me close.
Oh, Lord.
Ooh. Darling, I forgot to tell you.
What?
My paper knife came back.
With what?
Yes, I have it now in my hand. The hand that's behind your back, Tony.
What?
Yes, Tony, here is my paper knife. Oh, you can take your arms away from me now, Tony. It was quick as Uncle Edward, but I think you'll die anyway, Tony.
Yeah. chance. Maybe.
Oh, no, Doctor.
What?
I found the bottle of perfume you had placed in the air conditioner that you were using to drive me mad.
Bad. Bad luck.
Very bad luck, darling. You saw me kill Uncle Edward, didn't you? You were the one in the garden, weren't you?
Yeah, saw you.
And then when Flail came, you knew about him and you killed him, didn't you?
Boy, couldn't afford to have you give him money. Who's going to be mine?
Oh, Tony. Oh, Tony, didn't you know it was yours anyway? Everything I had was yours. Why did you have to torture me and try to drive me crazy?
You would have cracked it. And the money would have gone to Here's Uncle Ed. I played it safe.
But you didn't, Tony, did you? Play it safe. Because now you're dying. And when you're dead, I'm going to bury you with Uncle Edward. Right in the garden under the rose bushes. I've already told everyone that you're going away, and you are. But not very far. Although it's far enough, isn't it, Tony?
You've won.
Thank you, darling.
And you've lost. Listen. Know what that is? It's an ambulance. For you.
Why?
You're mad. Yesterday, 2 doctors signed certificates of lunacy. I authorized.
I am not insane. I can prove it. The odor of roses was a fake. I can show them the perfume. I can explain it to them.
But how will you explain me? Well, Uncle Edward. That's it, Laura. How will you explain her?
Tony! Tony. Tony! Wait! Wait! Oh. I think if I prove I'm sane, they'll hang me. And I don't want to be hanged. If I say nothing, they'll think I'm insane and they'll send me to the asylum, and I don't want to go to the asylum. And they won't go away. They won't go away.
That's the end of poor Laura, who was a handy girl with a paper knife, but who didn't do so well with her spring planting. Oh, and while I amble down to Green Towers to find out whether Laura's spending the winter in a padded cell or at the morgue, let me give you a bit of earnest advice. Never plant your uncle in the rose bushes if you're allergic to pollen. You might get a bad case of sleigh fever.
SANCTUM has been a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service. Voice of information and education.
Presenting Lloyd Nolan and Claire Pepper in a new radio series, Results Incorporated.
for you, sir?
Yeah, I want to run 2 ads in your paper.
Oh, yes, sir.
I want this one in the personal column, all capital letters.
Very well. Results Incorporated, your problem is our problem. We'll locate your long-lost uncle, work your crossword puzzle, hold your baby. Where others fail, we succeed. Contact Johnny Strange, room 201 Security Building. Oh, I must say that's
Well, now, here's the other ad. Help wanted female.
Oh. Wanted, secretary. Blonde, beautiful, between 22 and 28 years, unmarried. With a skin you love to touch and a heart you can't. Apply Johnny Strange, Results Incorporated Security Building. Mr. Strange, couldn't we make the wording just a little less flamboyant?
Now, listen. I'm not advertising for a professor of classical literature. I want results, sister. Results. Results Incorporated. Johnny Strange speaking. Oh, yeah, the phone works, except nobody calls. What? Oh, when did you connect it? Oh, just now. Say, I asked for a long extension cord, you know. I didn't get it. I like to walk around the room when I'm talking on the phone. I think on my feet, not the seat of my pants. Oh, the war. Oh, sure, I understand. No, don't mention it. Oh, hello.
Looks like the sheriff got here first. There's Mother Hubbard's cupboard. Now, let's see how it can be improved.
Well, don't mind me. I just stepped out of the wallpaper.
Only 1 desk and 2 chairs. Well, we'll certainly need more furniture. I guess 3 or 4 pictures will fix up the walls and bright orange drapes for the windows.
Anything wrong with my necktie?
Yes, it's much too loud. Neat view from the window. I can always look across at the bank clock until lunchtime.
Okay, it's a good gag. Now, who are you? What do you want?
You advertised for a secretary, didn't you?
Yeah.
All right. Where's the coat closet?
Now, look, sister, I haven't
The ad says secretary blonde, beautiful, between 22 and 28.
Yeah,
and I fill all 3, so I'm hired.
Now, hold on, will you? Are you married?
Nope. Say, haven't you got any coat hangers in this closet?
No, not yet. How about the skin you love to touch and the heart you can't?
Try both, brother. Just try.
Mm-hmm. And the salary?
25% commission, my hospital bills, and bail money.
Okay, get you on quick. What's your name?
Travis. Teresa Travis.
Okay, Terry. Now, about your references.
Oh, excuse me. Good morning, Results Incorporated. Yes, madam.
SANCTUM?
I think.
Well, let me talk to her.
Yes, madam. Just 1 moment, please. What's our business?
What is anything, everything?
Oh, whatever your problem is, we can solve it. Yes, madam. And your name, please? Oh, thank you, Mrs. Farnsworth. Goodbye.
No, wait. I said to let me talk to her.
Why should you? I've got the sales personality.
Oh, you got... Now, look, before considering yourself hired, let's hear some of your past tense.
In chronological order?
If you don't mind.
Well, let's see. Reporter on hometown paper, lingerie model.
Petite. Well, go ahead.
Magician's helper, sword and hat twice daily, 3 times on Sunday. Then secretary to a show producer.
Right in the lap of the entertainment field.
No, on the lap.
After that?
Secretary for Results Incorporated.
Just what makes you think you'd like to work for me?
Well, your ad sounded intriguing. I have a hunch you won't do me any good, but it'll be exciting.
Yeah, you're right. Johnny Strange is a cross between a public riot and the 7-year itch.
Well, with shin guards and pea powder, I ought to survive. Now, let's hear your true confession.
Well, at 17, slide trombone player at Haley's Traveling Circus, news reporter for 1 winter, deckhand unafraid to South America, detective, and then this.
Well, the man is versatile.
Yeah. You got any hobbies?
Yes, photography and murder mystery stories. I read them by the hour.
Oh, no, not my time you're doing. You pretty good with the camera?
Well, there's been worse.
I guess you'll do. But only for a... No, not at all. Yeah.
Results Incorporated.
In person.
Oh, then you're Johnny Strange. I'm Mrs. Farnsworth.
Yes, Mrs. Farnsworth. Oh, please come in.
Yeah, come in. Won't you take this chair, Mrs.
Yes.
Farnsworth?
Thank you. Oh, I do hope I came to the right place. When I read your ad this morning, I thought perhaps you might be able to help me.
Results guaranteed, Mrs. Farnsworth. Now, what can we do for you?
Well, can you find me a haunted house?
Oh, absolutely. There's nothing too hot. Hey, did you say a haunted house?
Yes, yes. You see, I write mystery stories, and I need actors here quite badly.
Oh, you write mystery stories. How interesting. But, I don't face your name, Mrs. Farnsworth.
Well, you see, I use a pen name, Beverly Hepburn.
George Beverly Hepburn. Why, then you wrote Murder and Fables. Oh, it was so lovely and gruesome. I couldn't keep the thing on my stomach all the time I was reading it. Oh, it was wonderful. Oh, Johnny, we've got to help him.
I've been to a number of real estate agents, but they won't take me seriously when I ask to rent a haunted house.
Well, do you want it with or without clanking chains?
Oh, I want everything. And if possible, no near neighbors.
Anything else?
Well, I would prefer a ghost of a murdered person.
Yeah. Well, all right, Mrs. Farnsworth. We'll look around and see what we can find.
Yes, and I'll take snapshots of the places so you can decide which looks the most promising.
Oh, that would be splendid. And when would you let me know?
Well, you can check with us, say, day after tomorrow.
Oh, well, I'll see you on Thursday afternoon. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Mrs. Farnsworth, there's one thing more. We didn't set a fee.
Oh, would $200 be all right?
Well, yes, I think so. That is, if it doesn't take more than 3 days.
Oh, good, good. Then goodbye until Thursday.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye, Mrs. Farnsworth.
Sorry, my girl. Results Incorporated is now a going business.
Yes. If we get a personal introduction to a ghost. I don't get it. We hear there's a haunted house here in Ashley Junction, and when we get here, nobody seems to know about it.
I got a hunch they know about it, all right. The way they act when we ask them.
Well, why won't they tell us anything?
Oh, maybe they're scared. Say, how about trying the old geezer sitting on the curb over there?
Well, I suppose one more won't kill us.
Afternoon, Skipper. Hey? We understand there's a haunted house in these parts. You know about it?
A real haunted house? Or a reasonable facsimile of the same.
Never been in a haunted house?
No.
The Barnsdale place ain't for you.
Oh, the Barnsdale place.
Dadgummit, went and told.
Hey, where is this place?
I know it's hard to tell. Folks hereabouts pretty worried over goings on lately. And me, well, I guess nobody can test what I know.
Oh, lovely. Oh, you'll tell us so, won't you?
Well,
please.
Well, how's your telephone?
Oh, we promise.
Well, you know, about 7 years ago, old Albert Barnsdale was murdered. That's how stable he was. Some folks say him, old Albert, he turned to haunt the place. Leastwise, nobody will go near the doggone house. I was sort of caretaker a couple of months ago, and things began to happen. Doors up banging and sneezing sounds. Only Albert wasn't sneezing. He was strangling all over again. I did was more than a buddy could stand.
Johnny, it sounds perfect.
Yeah. Say, where is this place, partner?
Why, 3-4 miles out the old Hadley Road. And I make a promise, though. Real estaters would run me out of the country if I got to win that spot sale for them.
You can trust us. Come on, Johnny, come on.
And thanks, partner. Say, if we have any luck, I'll drop you a ghost card.
There's no joke about it. Some nightfall, you wish you weren't enough part of the country, Jackson, because I know it.
I wish our headlights were brighter, Johnny.
Yeah. The old duffer didn't exaggerate. This drive would give Karloff the jitters.
You know, I don't mind visiting haunted houses, but why in the middle of the night?
Yes, this Farnsworth wants atmosphere. You're going to get in the mood at high noon.
Okay, so we stumble through the house in pitch dark and keep a tally card on our goose pimples.
No, it won't be pitch dark. I got a flashlight.
No.
Hey, you scared?
No, not me. But I don't like to do things the hard way, that's all. Oh, don't look now, but I think we're at the end of the trail.
Yeah. Yeah, this must be it.
Hallelujah. Woo! This is the answer to our prayers, all right. Broken down house, dark-looking trees, and not a neighbor in miles.
Mm-hmm. You got your camera and the flash bulb?
Yep, all set. Let's remember these creaking stairs when we report for Mrs. Farnsworth.
Yeah. Well, might as well find out if there's any ghosts in the home.
Oh, don't be silly. Open the door and go in.
Okay. Boy, this is atmosphere for you.
Mm-hmm.
$36 an ounce variety.
You mean 18 carats?
Now, that's all. Come on, better get a picture.
All right. Quicker than you can say Albert Barnsdale.
That's good. Now, let's get one of this old staircase before it tumbles down.
You know, I'm disappointed. Albert ought to be floating down it in a haze of blue light and a baritone moan. Well, now that's more like it. This camera will get the sound.
Flash bulb makes a lot of light. Must be the library. Minus the books.
Oh, look at the cobwebs in the dust. No wonder Albert goes around sneezing. God bless you.
I didn't sneeze.
You didn't sneeze? Look, Sonny, let's get a picture of this room and go home. What are you doing with that candlestick?
I thought I'd like to take it home as a stupid. Take the darn thing off the mantel. Sucker. Bill Dennis.
What's that?
The mantel's moving.
Johnny! Johnny, look!
Huh. How do you like that? That candlestick opens a moving mantel leading into a secret passageway. Say, Bob Hope couldn't do any better.
Johnny, I don't like it.
Wait, it's perfect. Mrs. Farnsworth will kiss us for this.
You're not going into that hole in the wall, are you?
No. Here, look. Now, you just take a picture of it for Mrs. Farnsworth. Say, if this doesn't sell her, nothing will. I'll stand here right by the side of the passageway. You snap the tool.
All right. Ready?
Let it go. Don't do that.
Johnny, get away from there, quick! Hey, quick!
Now, look, honey, don't let your nerves...
My God! I got two hands reach for you. Right out of the wall. Oh, and then the most horrible thing.
Results Incorporated, starring Claire Trevor as Teresa Travis and Lloyd Nolan as Johnny Strange, finds Terry and Johnny in the clothes closet of their new office. It has been converted into a dark room. At this moment, Johnny and Terry are anxiously waiting the outcome of the pictures taken the night before.
The pictures ready yet?
No, you'll have to look at them in the tray here.
Okay, let's see. There's the staircase. Mm-hmm. There's the library. And there's a... Hey, Terry, look.
Right, what's wrong?
That shot of the secret panel. You know when you screamed?
Those hands. In the face.
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't seeing things.
Golly. A couple of seconds more and I'd have been a ghost.
But who is it? What is it?
Hey, wait a minute. I've seen that face in a newspaper or a magazine. Say, I know now. It's Eddie Carson, the killer. Remember, they had him in the insane asylum, but he broke out a little over 2 months ago. Remember? It was in all the papers.
But why is he hiding in the Barnsdale place?
Well, he must have figured nobody'd go near it. If they heard anything strange or got suspicious, they'd chalk it up to Albert. Hey, wait. Now I remember why they put Eddie Carson away. He's the nut who strangled old Albert Barnsdale. Now we get something.
What are you going to do?
Phone the police.
No, wait. We've got something safe here. The police all over the state have been searching for Eddie Carson. Now, if we were to capture him...
Now, honey, you shouldn't drink that film.
Oh, listen, you big galoot. It would make us. Think of the publicity. Eddie Carson captured by the president of Results Incorporated. How would that look on the front page?
You know, sweetheart, I think you've got something.
So then we'll do it?
Yeah. But don't ask me how.
And don't forget, Eddie Carson is more than a murderer. He's insane.
He's got nothing on us. Come on.
Right now?
Well, sure. There's no time to lose. Carson might duck out after this. And besides, No more night work for me. I'm going to do my capturing in broad daylight when I can see what I'm doing.
You would have only an A book.
Well, the meter read a quarter of a tank full when we left. Anyway, we only got a short way to go.
That's swell, except for one thing. In another half hour, it'll be darker than a sack of black cats.
But we can't wait till morning. Carson might clear out, then where'll we be?
Alive.
Hey, look, there's a car coming.
That's a fine time. We're practically there.
Howdy, partner.
Hey, is your car back down the road, Pete?
Yeah, I guess so.
Man, you better gas it up and get out of these parts.
Why?
Well, we're having a practice blackout tonight. Don't drive it after dark. It's for an air raid warden.
Oh, are you an air raid warden?
Well, that's my helmet in the back seat. Folks up to?
We were thinking of renting the Barnsdale place. You know, we thought we'd look it over.
Don't know what you'd want that place for. Nobody's lived there in years.
How about Albert? Ooh.
Molly Doddle, everybody in town believes in Albert. But they poo-poo me when I say Ashley Junction, they have an air raid. Well, I've got to get on the way. Remember, no light. Back up starts right after sundown.
Yeah. So long, partner.
Well, here goes our last contact with civilization. Now all we have to do is sneak up and sort the dirty tails.
Check.
How? Or is it a trade secret?
Strategy, my pet. We'll use finesse on Mr. Carson.
What kind of finesse?
You get him to focus his attention in your direction. I'll do the rest.
I see. While I show him my vaccination mark, you'll contact him.
Positively psychic. Now, quiet down. Don't make any noise.
Now is the time for a good news.
Stop mumbling. I know you can type.
Careful with that flashlight. Oh.
Yeah, come on. Let's head for that library and the secret panel.
Nothing beautiful. Listen to this floor.
Ow!
Johnny, quiet.
Tripped over a blasted shovel.
Shovel? Well, what is it doing here?
What's it? Come on.
Do you think he's heard us?
I don't know. Yeah, the library should be on the other side of this door. Hey. Now, take my hand. Keep close. Don't make no.
Oh, Johnny, the flashlight. What? Oh!
Harry, come on, snap on. Harry. Harry. Are you all right?
My head. What happened?
Listen, beautiful. We're locked up. We're cooped.
Eddie Carson?
Yeah. Just like this man who locked us in this storeroom.
Where's your flashlight?
It's gone.
Is there any way out?
No, I haven't found one. No.
How about a window?
It's barred.
Johnny, what are we going to do?
I don't know.
How long do you think we've been here?
I don't know. Can't see any light in the village, so they must have started the blackout.
Johnny, listen.
Gentleman brings a lantern.
And a gun.
Wait, could you?
Oh, well, we don't see many celebrities like you, Mr. Carson.
I guess you don't is that. I'm about the most famous guy around here. Hey, what's that there on the floor?
Oh, that's my camera.
Hey! Yeah, I felt a breeze from that one. Shadows. I hate shadows. They sneak up on you. Scared Albert, huh? No, not Albert. I strangled him 7 years ago. Made a nice grave for him, too. Then I dug him up. this closet till it's time for me to strangle. Say hello to everybody now. Go on, say hello.
Not the closet empty.
Yeah. So smart. If you into this place. Now that you've met Albert, I think I can keep all of you in the same closet. To talk to each other. Till the grave.
The grave.
You didn't think I'd leave you lay around on top? I was brought up decent. The finesse. What?
Oh, yes. Mr. Carson. Mr. Carson, please don't go yet.
Why?
I want you to pose for a portrait.
Portrait?
Yes, if I'm going to die now, I'd like to die knowing I've done something really big in my life, like taking a picture of Eddie Carson. Yes, bring your lantern and stand over there by the window.
Well,
I've never seen a good picture of you, Mr. Carson. You know, you're much handsomer than those pictures in the paper.
Yeah?
Oh, of course. Now, come on. Let's get over to the window here. Pose. This is going to be something special.
Good.
Oh, of course you can. And whenever you look at it, I hope you remember little Terry. Oh, that's wonderful.
Hey, this is getting monotonous. I can't help it. I don't like shadows.
Now, Mr. Carson, please, I can't take your picture if you're going to move around.
All right. I won't look at the shadows.
Oh, that's the boy. Now, don't get scared when my camera makes a big light.
Yeah, and if you have any reflexes, watch where you point that gun. Please.
Okay, here we go.
That was fun. Do it again. This time get my profile. I've got a swell profile.
All right, you're the boss. Just give me a second to fit in another bulb here.
Here, Eddie, put on my necktie. It'll make you look nice. Get back in the corner. I don't like things around my neck. No? I was just thinking. Albert in the strangest look on his face. I strangled him. He gurgled. His eyes. Hey, I ought to have everything in keeping. Instead of shooting, I could hang you two.
Oh, by all means, hang us. Now, just one more picture, and then I'm out of flashbulb.
Oh, shucks.
You know, I read of an interesting strangling once. The murderer tossed a rope over the limb of a tree and tied a man to each end of his rope, and when they tried to smuggle and strangle each other, it was marvelous, really. Well, I'm all set. Hold it now. There you are.
The rope over the limb of a tree. Hey, that's a good idea. I'll do that to you. I ain't never tried that one. I'll be back. I gotta get those stakes up. That's nice going, pal. You finessed us up good.
Oh, well, I was only making conversation. Besides, what about you? How about you were going to trip Carson, the old Johnny Strange one, too? I gave you the opportunity.
Oh, yeah, with him taking butt shots at shadows every 2 seconds?
Well, anyway, let's hope it works.
Let's hope. What are you talking about?
Flashbulbs. Those flashes must have been seen in the village. We're in a blackout, remember?
Now, listen, sugar, everybody in Ashley Junction is so pie-eyed scared of this joint. They wouldn't come near it if you hung out a neon sign reading charcoal broiled steaks. Well, it makes my grave long enough. I never could sleep with my knees tucked under my chin.
Darling. What do we do?
I don't know. Harry.
Yeah?
I'm awfully sorry.
Oh, that's all right, then. I said you wouldn't do me any good. Well, at least it would be exciting.
You were to get 25% of everything we took in. Looks like you're going to get 50% of this little hanging party.
Haven't you got any more strategies up your sleeves, Mama?
No. Right now. But I'll go down trying. You can't get away with this, Carson. Look, tell us who. Come on, get going. going to get a bang out of this. I never seen two guys hang each other before. What's that? Hey there! What's going on? Who's that? The police, Eddie. They got you cornered. The police? How did they know I was here? Well, don't you remember those flash bulbs when your picture was taken? That was a signal to close in? Yeah. Well, they haven't got me yet. I'll get you before they get me. Hey, there's another shadow. Look out behind you. Darn this. All out of bullets, huh?
Johnny, be careful.
I'll kill you with my fist. Well, you would, huh? I'll see you. Yeah, that's what I picked up from an old sea cap. I'll get you with my fist. Here's one I learned. You learn when you're a cop. Oh. And to top it off, here's a little trick I picked up in the Marines. There. The day store.
Johnny, you all right?
Yeah, sure. Just about chewed all off my ear. Hey, what's going on in here? Who fired them shots?
Oh, so you saw my flashes.
Yeah, a perfect blackout except for your blooming house party. Hey, what's that you're sitting on? The temp name. Eddie Carson. Eddie Carson? But not the...
Yes, sir, partner, the Eddie Carson.
Well, what are you going to do with him? Going to splash him across page 1 of every paper in the state.
With pictures by Teresa Travis.
And results by Johnny Strange. Results Incorporated, satisfaction guaranteed.
Both Miss Travis and Johnny Strange, and had already prepared their graves when Strange gave battle, and after a hard struggle, overpowered the gunman.
Listen to this in the Herald. Mad killer captured by daring couple. Eddie Carson outwitted by pair of house hunters. John Strange and Teresa Travis, president and secretary, respectively, of the organization known as Results Incorporated, were the...
Yeah, I hope I'm not including me there.
Oh.
Well, Mrs. Farnsworth.
How are you today?
Oh, it's present and voting.
Have you got that house for me yet?
Mrs. Farnsworth, we have found you a house that has everything. There's a murderer, a ghost named Albert, a sliding panel, 2 attempted murderers, and a couple of unused graves.
And pictures to prove it.
Yeah.
Oh, how perfect. And then I'll give you my check right now.
Oh, well...
excuse me. Results Incorporated. Yes? What? Oh, one moment, please. Johnny.
Yeah?
It's the state penitentiary. They've just had a prison break. What's our price? Wholesale.
Boyd and Claire, you certainly had us worried there for a minute. Say, what have you on tap for next week? Another comedy mystery?
Well, mystery, yes. Comedy? Well...
You see, in our next story, Lloyd, or that is Johnny Strange, has a most amazing adventure.
Yeah. It all starts out when a guy named Trezona hires us to locate his brother. Now, in tracking him down...
Johnny can't resist a late afternoon cocktail. So he stops in a local pub and orders a drink.
And the next thing I know, I'm on the floor, the place is deserted, the gun is in my hand, and a dead policeman is lying beside me.
And solving the mystery of what happens in that blank period from the time Johnny takes the drink and when he wakes up with a gun in his hand proves to be one of the most exciting experiences ever encountered by Results Incorporated.
Appearing in our cast tonight were Wally Mayer, Dee Benederet, Joe Kearns, and Dick Ryan. Music was by Felix Mills. The script was written by Leonard St. Clair, and Bill Hampton is the editor. Our thanks to all of them, and our thanks to you for listening. This is Henry Charles speaking.
The Shadow of Fu Manchu. Based on the stories by Sax Rohmer. Dealer shop where Dr. Petrie believes he has seen Carame, Nayland Smith and the doctor are trapped by Fu Manchu, handcuffed to iron rings in the wall of Dr. Fu's laboratory, for which the antique shop is a blind. They are released by Carame during Fu Manchu's absence. As Manchu and his dacoits return and enter the laboratory, Smith and Dr. Petrie swing across the street at the end of a rope to a window in the building opposite. Leaving the building by a rear door, they find themselves in a high-walled court. Preceded by the wailing cry of the dacoit, yellow forms rush toward them from the house.
The wall, Petrie, don't feel alive. We can't make it, David. It's too high. We must make it. Hurry. Well, they'll have us before we... Here, quick. On my shoulders. Pull on close. Hold on to one end and let it down to me. Hurry, man. All right, here you are. Catch hold. Hold fast. Quick, they're right behind you. Down, Petrie. On the other side, quick. There's a door across the court. Oh, thank heaven it was unlocked. This corridor should lead us to a street door. Come on.
Jove, that was close, Nayland. Another second at that wall, and Hassan would have had you.
Wait. I'll see if the coast's clear. All right. Come on. Our first job is to get in touch with Weymouth. We must raid that place at once. Oh, taxi! Here! Number 15, Baker Street, driver.
Well, Smith, we raided the place in less than an hour after your call and found our birds flown.
You found nothing at all?
Oh, the stock of Nishiko Incorporated was intact, but upstairs, nothing. Instruments, drugs, books, and the things you described, everything gone, and not a human being in the place. Even the rope swing you escaped by was gone.
No clue of Fu Manchu?
Not the ghost of one. The man's as elusive as one of his dacoits. He and his entire group seem to have vanished into thin air.
And this business you're engaged in now, this Gables case, how did it enter your province?
Well, the house is called the Gables. But I knew from the first it was a wild goose chase.
Oh, how so?
Because I was there 6 months ago and knew what to expect. It's supposed to be haunted, ghosts and all that.
Oh, I didn't know that cleaning up haunted houses came within the jurisdiction of the yard.
In the ordinary way, it doesn't. But a sudden death is always a bit suspicious.
Sudden death? You mean the ghost has killed someone?
Well, I'll explain. This dead end, with not the shadow of a clue to the whereabouts of Fu Manchu, was beginning to get on my nerves.
And mine.
Well, after the raid on the Museum Street place, I volunteered to run up to Hampstead and look into this Gables matter.
And you found what?
A queer business, more in the Psychical Research Society's line than mine. Still, if there were no such person as Fu Manchu, it might interest you and you, Dr. Petrie. Because it illustrates the fact that, given the right subject, death can be brought about without any elaborate mechanism, such as our Oriental friend uses.
Very interesting. Go on.
Well, 2 people have died at the Gables within the last 6 months. 2 men, both in good health, have died without anyone laying a finger on them. They weren't poisoned or bitten by snakes or strangled, nothing like that.
Well, sounds as though Fu Manchu could learn something from the Gables.
Well, every other case seems stale alongside the Fu Manchu business. But when the Gables came on the books of the yard the second time, I began to wonder.
Wonder? What about?
I thought there might be some tangible clue, some link connecting the 2 victims. Robbery, revenge, some motive. I hoped to find evidence of a human agency at work, but I was disappointed.
It's really a legitimate case of a haunted house, then?
Yes. We run across them occasionally where there seems to be something harmful to human life, but something you cannot arrest.
Oh, I suppose so. There are historic instances such as Glamis Castle and Spedler's Tower in Scotland, the Grey Lady of Raynham Hall, and so on. But I've never come in personal contact with such a case.
Oh, nor I.
If I did, I'd feel humiliated to have to confess that there was any agency which could produce the physical result of death, but which was immune from physical retaliation. But tell me about the Gables.
Well, I'll have to admit it's an uncanny house. It was built for a wealthy Quaker family in 1870. They lived there for many years, and it was sold to a man named Madison. He died there 6 months ago.
Madison? Who was he? Where was he from?
He was a retired tea planter from Colombo.
Ceylon, eh?
Yes, a link with the East, Doctor, if that's what you mean. And it was that which interested me at the time, that there was no connection between Madison and Fu Manchu. Of that, I'm certain.
How did Madison die?
He died in his chair one evening in the library. His household consisted of a cook, a housemaid, and a man. He was a bachelor. And the cook and the maid resigned because they said the house was haunted.
In what way?
Well, they told me absurd tales about dark figures wandering through the corridors and bending over them in bed at night. The chief trouble was the continuous ringing of bells. The man Stevens confirmed it.
How did they describe the ringing?
Oh, sort of jangling, sometimes near the ceiling and again under the floor, like the shaking of small silver bells.
Well, this Gables thing seems to resemble the cases of astral bells, such as we sometimes hear of in India.
Yes, it was Stevens who found his master. Madison was sitting bolt upright in his chair with a look of horror on his face. A doctor found no trace of violence and pronounced death induced by fright.
Anything else?
Only this. Stevens himself swore to the fact that he had seen one of these apparitions before, which took form of a sort of luminous hand clutching a curved knife.
Luminous hand?
Well, anyway, I examined the Gables pretty closely. Spent the night in the empty house with another Scotland Yard man. We saw nothing, but we heard the bells.
What? You can swear to that?
I can. Well, following the death of Madison, the place was empty again until a short time back, a French gentleman leased it. He came a week ago. Last Friday night at midnight, his servant ran into a neighboring house screaming the fiery hand.
And the French gentleman?
Was found dead in the drive, sitting bolt upright near the steps just outside the hall door. And he had the same look of horror on his face.
Gad. Well, gentlemen, this is interesting. I'm going to rent that house at once. This is the first time, Petrie, I've used a disguise since the incident of the false pigtail.
And what possible reason can there be for a disguise tonight?
Every reason, old chap. Now, I've leased the place in the name of Professor Maxton. You and my very good friend, Mr. Pierce.
But why should you interest yourself in the Gables?
Does no explanation occur to you, Petrie?
None, but since you've assured me that my presence is necessary to your safety, well, I'm here.
I'll explain presently, old chap. If an explanation is necessary after tonight. Oh, here we are. I'll unlock the gate. Come on.
Well, where is the house?
Up the drive behind those trees. There should be refreshments and a fire in the library if the charwoman has followed instructions.
What an eerie place.
Hmm.
Looks haunted even from the outside.
Ideally located for its purpose. No other houses up the road until you reach the heath. Oh, good. There's a light in the hall. Now remember, I'm Professor Maxton. You are Pierce. Oh, come in, Pierce. Come in. We'll have a whiskey and soda in the library, then we'll look around.
Ah, excellent, Professor. Oh, a cheery fire, refreshments. I see one of your bags has already arrived.
Books, Pierce, books. Come, draw up your chair. Those sandwiches look interesting. Do you know that it...
By Jove, listen.
The spirits waste no time, do they? My dear Pierce, did you hear the ringing of bells?
Distinctly, Professor, distinctly.
Finish your drink, old chap. I'm going to have a look. Hand me that bag and don't leave the room until I come back. Nothing, Pierce. But I believe the house is haunted. However, no ghost ever frightened me. Now, come on, we'll look at our room. We'll have the lights on as we go. By Jove, I'm afraid we'll never get any servants to stay here. Let's have a look at these bedrooms.
Well and comfortably furnished, Professor.
Yes, very comfortable. The house seems ideal, Pierce, for our purpose.
Well, it may be, but the place has a cold, repellent feel about it, Newman. Something evil seems to have hold of these bedrooms. Steady, old man, real soon. My Scott, what was that?
Very strange, Pierce. I think we'd better spend the night in a hotel. Come on, let's go back to the library.
Yes, that's a very good suggestion, Professor. I should much prefer to examine the house in daylight.
After all, there may be a natural explanation for what we've heard. We haven't actually seen anything. It might even be possible to get used to that ringing and wailing after time.
But I feel, Professor...
Very well, Pierce. I see you don't share my views. But for my part, I shall return tomorrow and devote further attention to this phenomenon.
The bag of books, Professor, we're leaving them?
No, I'll take the bag with me. Now, if you're ready...
Oh, quite ready, Professor, I can assure you.
I'll put out the light here, then. Go on to the front door, Pierce. I'll follow as soon as I've turned out the hall light. We can see our way well enough without light.
Good heavens, Peter. Look, directly behind you. Good Lord. The fiery hand.
Shadow of Fu Manchu.